welcome. We see Samolu in the building.
We see Samolu and Jovestina
in the building.
Welcome to today's show. We hope everybody is doing well.
Yes.
Upon arrival, hit the like button and let us know if you can hear us, because I think last week, for some minutes, some people were not able to hear what we were saying. So please let us know if you can hear us or not.
Yeah, if you can hear us, let us know, okay? Let us know.
Let us know. Anybody in the house? Oh, I see our forever president, the president of the Common Sense Squad. Greetings and welcome to today's show. I'm Akawonsu.
Welcome. We'll see you.
Welcome. We're waiting for some more people before we start. Thank you for confirming that you can hear us. We're waiting for some more people before we start with the obligations of the squad and the order of the day. As you can see, we are at a wedding venue.
Yes, so
we are at a wedding venue for the topic of Brideprice.
We are exquisitely and delightfully dressed up for the occasion.
Yes, I mean, why not?
We are beautiful ladies.
Well, just know the way all these clothes is quarantine. As I attend a virtual Brideprice ceremony.
Yes. So we just
start.
I don't know if we have to start. So I guess we should.
Okay. Well, we will just be giving what do they call these things? The rules of the day. First of all, to everyone who is new, welcome to the Common Sense Squad. It's not officially greeted you. This is we are the Common Sense Sisters. My name is Ella.
My name is Yo-Yo.
And we are all part of the Common Sense Squad.
Yeah.
So, first things first. These are the rules of today's debate. Number 1, be respectful. Number 2, be open-minded. Number 3, stay on topic. Number 4, don't use bad words.
Exactly.
Cussful words, do not use that. You subscribe, you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post, and you like and what?
You share. As you're watching, just share it now because we're live.
Yes, because we're live. And have people come and join the conversation as well.
Exactly.
Next on the agenda is our About page. If you don't know about us, you can go on there and read about us. That's if you're new. The other thing is our community page. This is where we post regular updates for everyone, letting you all know what we'll be talking about or anything that is happening. Also, if you're also new joining the family of the Common Sense Squad, you can check out our playlist for different videos that we've done over the years. And lastly, you can follow us on social media. Yes. So
that's the other of the day. President said she had to rush from the grocery store to make sure she's at home for this show. We appreciate you.
Oh my goodness.
Saturday shopping and everything.
I know.
That's we really appreciate you.
Yeah. Anyways,
so
Funke, Precious Ronke, I can't wait, please.
Good evening, Funke, Precious Ronke. We can't wait also to hear from you too. Welcome. We are kind of holding up. It's getting up to the 5 minutes mark.
Because I'm waiting for people. Where's everybody now?
We say we don't show up late, so you people are not showing up. Is it fair?
It's not fair now. We say we don't do African time. The squad.
When we start sharing sweet food now, people will say that they don't get joy.
Well, anybody that come early is the only one that will have small chops.
Virtual small chops. Before people will come and be messaging us that they did not receive their small chops. Yeah. So I think that we cannot keep people waiting. People are already here in the studio. I think we should start. We should respect people's time. So, as you all know, we've already set out the rules for the show for today, and we're going to be talking about Brideprice. And we are asking, according to the topic of the day, African Brideprice endangers women. That's a statement, right?
Do you agree with this?
Do you agree with this or not? Should we abolish Brideprice or not? And I think it was on Wednesday we put out a poll on our community tab.
And this is how yours voted.
This is how we screenshotted this thing in real time.
Few minutes before we started the live.
Yeah.
This was where it was at. So we had 39 votes. With the highest being yes, because women are not for sale. Next is no, because it's part of our culture. And the third group of people, this third group, they are the ones that are saying, Brideprice is so expensive, therefore we must what? Abolish it! Abolish it. Yes.
And also some people also commented under the
comments. Yeah.
Yeah. So put
so
out
these
the
are some comments that we had.
Yeah, that is Sarah, I think.
Sarah said, "It's a yes for me because men often use this as an excuse to maltreat their spouse. Furthermore, my granddad returned bride price to my dad, and the same was done for my sister when she got married. The return came along with a statement: we don't sell our children, our family. Marriage is hard enough with this tradition. Let's not reduce the playing field any further than we need to."
Wow, interesting. I hope we'll get to hear from the person today.
Yeah. Then Mary Mikonye wrote, once a woman's pride, I guess she meant bride price is paid, every other thing Najara. So I won't let it go. It's our biggest culture.
Mary, I hope we'll hear from you today.
Our president, Amaka Wosu, said, it's a big no for me. This one is one culture I'm not ready to see go. The Common Sense Sisters responded, see you on Saturday, and we are seeing her.
And she's here.
Somebody else responded on that, but I can't see that screenshot, unfortunately. So, Elma Yeskana in the house.
Hey. Welcome. Good to see you.
So let's even start by defining what exactly is this bride price. Should I give you the Google definition of bride price?
I think you can give the Google definition of bride price.
If you even Google bride price, some of the first pictures you will see are like African traditional things, right? So bride price, according to Google, is wealth or bride token, money, property, or other forms of wealth paid by a groom or his family to the woman or her family of whom he is marrying to.
Wow.
In other words, bride price is the exchange of a bride with funds.
Okay. So I remember that you went on Twitter and you saw some things.
Yes. I did go on Twitter, sometimes. Our president is saying that she's standing her comments.
No wahala. And what were the things? What were the things we saw?
I was on my own on the streets of Twitter, and I saw a man who is now recognizing the reality of bride price. And I will put it on the screen here for everybody to read. So this is Opia Inspector. I think it was in July of this year.
Yes. I can read this one. Then pay my sister bride price almost 300K. 300K means 300,000 naira. Now 5K, that's 5K naira reach my mom's hand. Elders share the rest. So now the misogyny, Ebele and Uloma, they talk since with this.
Looks like a Piachuka is quite shocked about the reality of bride price. So today we want to unpack what is this bride price? What does it mean for the bride, for the groom, for the bride's family, for the groom's family, and for the village that raises the child? Why is there bride price in the African culture? Is there a difference between traditional marriage and bride price? Because as a Nigerian girl, you get married 3 times. You get married according to the law by legal, if you are a church person or whatever, and then traditionally, those are the 3 ways of getting married. But only one is attached with a price. So we're going to be unpacking that today. And also on Twitter, people responded to Opia Inspector. This guy's going to be so funny. And somebody said, Opia continued and said, elders who I never see for my life, they call my sister Pikin, meaning that elders that were not there when the children were growing up came to come and eat out of the 300,000 naira that was spent. Now Opia is now saying we need to dismantle this misogyny thing. Assuming my mom still collect better money, I don't see my share. Okay.
He say the male privilege no even reach my side, and I dey fear to ask, make them no send me
go evil forest.
So is it that Opia he's calling out this thing just because he did not reach his pocket?
Yes, So you know that
Opia, are you really doing well? Are you not doing well?
Really? We have not seen any others.
We are looking for the elder in the house to tell us why they collect bride price. We need to understand.
Please take the link of this video and post it to your family group chat.
We need the elders to come out because the ladies are going to speak today. Exactly. So we need them. So Ella, what's your opinion, self? Are you for the bride price or you're against it?
I should not reserve my opinion today. I don't want to influence people's thinking. We are all for people thinking for themselves. So I already have my opinion, which is not changing.
Me too.
So I want to hear what people
have to say
about this bride price thing. You know, when the age of, you know, modern day feminism, we recognize everything that's going on, equality and all these things. So should men and their families still be paying a token for a bride?
Right. Yeah.
What entails in this bride price? Different cultures have different bride prices.
Yeah, that's true. I think we'll have to be hearing from the crowd.
Okay.
So we're going to put the link there, and we're going to basically invite each person to the studio. When you come to the studio, please,
and the crowd.
You talk to us and the crowd, and then you would have to answer the questions, right? If you are for or against it, should it be abolished? Yes or no?
And why?
And why? What are your reasons? We want to, we not only us want to know, everybody wants to know, because people will come and watch this video. So also,
has your bride price? Have you ever witnessed a bride price ceremony?
I have.
What are like some scary stories?
Yeah.
You know, different. You know, this is a family drama happens behind the scenes.
I don't think we should extend it to that. I need to hear people's. I think we need to hear people's reasons. So I think we'll put the link, and then
you let us know where you're calling from.
Let us know
if you're Nigerian or and all that stuff. You know,
and then let us know
what the bride price thing is like in your family as well, in your culture as well.
So put the link so that people can come in.
You can come in, I think, from Facebook and YouTube, because we're live on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, so you can call in. You people are the one that asked for this topic. So
we went and dressed, so this dress cannot be put to waste.
It's not waste. It's occasion now. Right? You have to dress for the occasion. Well, for me,
we're inside the wedding venue.
So click on the link and come in and defend yourself.
Yeah.
Defend yourself. Defend your opinion. You know, enlighten all of us. Let all of us know why you are choosing your destiny. You know, I don't know. I think I was reading an article, I think last week, from a lady who is based in Australia. She's from one of these African countries. Yeah, and she was talking about the whole bride price thing and how, like, she doesn't like it.
Oh, why?
Right? She doesn't like it. According to her, she said her mom didn't have a choice in it, and then it was most likely like the elders in their village and in their community, they exploited everything. The mom didn't have opportunity to go. The man paid for the bride price. The mother didn't have any opinion.
Also, like Opia's this thing.
Yes, the mother didn't have any opinion. She couldn't go to school. She wanted to go to school. She wasn't allowed to go to school. And from the husband didn't allow her. She was just there making children and all that. She didn't have a choice. She didn't have a voice of her own.
So the marriage,
yes, because the man said, "I married, I paid your bride price, I detect the rules and all that stuff." You know,
so like how some African men will say, "Because I paid this token for you, then you are my
property." You are my property. Yes, that's exactly what was happening.
I see.
But also, she got married to somebody in Australia, right? She got married to someone in Australia, and she talked about not allowing this whole bride price thing take place. But she also talked about her mom's happiness, because they also see it as a thing of pride and joy. The mother plays the whole role in preparing the bride. She didn't want to also deny the mom. Yeah, so she was kind of conflicted, but at the end of the day, she went in with the choice of paying the bride price. The person she got married to, who is non-African, was okay with the whole custom and tradition. He liked it. He was okay with it. But anyways, we have someone in the studio.
Oh my yes, Connor.
We're bringing you in. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Can bring that in.
Okay.
Ready.
Hi.
I like your earrings.
That's very beautiful.
Thank you. I'm working on something here. So this bride price matter, I beg, I need the elders to come and educate us the significance of bride price, because we were born into it. So the history is not, we don't really understand the history. We just hear that, there's a bride price attached to when you decide you want to marry, the man bringing certain items, yam, palm wine, portmanteau of clothes for the woman, palm oil and all that. So there must be a significance. So I don't want us to ignore that. And I know that you guys already have that down. But for me, personally, I think paying bride price, like counting money, the idea that somebody will put something down or some money down in whatever way in whatever form that money is, whether it's currency or not, right? As a human being, subconsciously, that person feels, because that's the mindset that's been exposed here. The mindset is, I bought this thing, so it is mine. So based on that, I can understand why back in the day, right, in our great grandmother's time or grandmother's time, they saw women as properties. Because if you pay for something, right, you treat it as your own in certain ways. Like if you buy a kettle, you're going to use it as a kettle.
Yes.
If you go to the store and purchase anything, blender, pots, whatever, you're going to use those things. So it's somehow, I feel like, subconsciously at the back of anyone's mind, if once you're putting something towards something, there's a little thing there that will make that person want to abuse the purpose of it. Because if I pay for something, I mean, hey, if I buy an outfit and I've worn it over so many times, right? If I want to get rid of it, I just get rid of it because I spent my money on it. I can give it to what's it called, the store, Goodwill store or something. I just toss it aside. So it's the same way. So when people subconsciously have the idea that they're paying for something, especially if you have to do with a human being, there's a chance that there will be abuse. Because you feel like you spent something for it, Even when you think about the way, most girls are run after men for money, or men who show off their money so that women can be attracted to them, women that like to, guess what? They abuse them however way they want. But because those women keep getting that money from them, it's okay. They can explain it away as long as the money is coming. It's not just one slap, I'd rather be crying inside my Range Rover instead of suffering. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a mindset behind it. Once you pay for something, the likelihood is that you're going to abuse it. But if you meet someone on a level playing ground, meaning you meet them as a human being first, and you talk to them and you love them just because, not because you want anything, and something develops from there, and you find, you know what, I think we can do this well. I think we can work together as partners. What happens is that person, right, would respect you more. Because there's a human element. The person knows your emotions, has seen your downside, your upside. So there's space for empathy. There's space for them to look at you and view you as a human being and treat you with respect and dignity.
That is even after paying the bride price.
I'm talking without paying I'm saying that in my own mind, on my stance, I'm not really for bride price. Maybe because I don't understand the cultural relevance yet, and that's why I'm saying if you can get an elder. Personally, for me, I don't like the idea of bride price because there's a subconscious element involved. Because I look at the things I buy. Sorry, go ahead.
Look, if you look at the name too, Brideprice.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, exactly. It's like speaking against itself already. Brideprice. I paid a price for it. When somebody wins a trophy, even when some people who go and compete for games win trophies, after a while, they're done with the trophy. They toss it, they put it in one shelf somewhere. They might not even remember. I remember some journalists went to Serena Williams' home to interview her and all that. Like, how they say the lives of whatever, welcome to my home, something like that. I can't remember what the nature of the conversation was. But basically, she was saying that most of her trophies are not even in her house. She doesn't even know where some of them are. Okay? So because she doesn't know where some of them are now, she does not remember because it's something it's been done with. So when you pay for something, when you use money, if you go to Starbucks and you buy a drink, you drink it and you toss the cup. So personally, I'm not for bride price. Again, I stand to be corrected though, culturally, if it makes sense, if somebody knows why from generation to generation we've been paying bride price. I want to know. Maybe there's a relevance, there's a reason. I don't know, but I'm not for it at all.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Let's
that's
see what
fine. Let's hear what Amaka
President
has
Amaka
to
has to
say, and it's okay if you want to remove your video or anything, or you want to leave. That's fine.
Oh, hi, Common Sense sisters. Good afternoon. I said, let me just go ahead and rush and come in here before, go heading back to just watching and being mute. Well, on Common case, actually, it's argued different. I'm gonna come to my case, to what I want to say a little bit later, but it's argued differently. Sometimes back in the day when they used to put men through, crap, having to marry their wives and pay through their nose to marry their wives. Those men end up, it's almost like when you buy a Gucci bag, or you go spend your money, go to a Prada store and pick up a bag for like 10 grand or whatever. You don't go to that. I mean, you see people that instead of them to sit down, they'll carry it back, put for chair and stand up. You see what I'm saying? So in that essence, sometimes the argument is like when they make it too easy for the guys, they end up thinking like, okay, I can just literally toss you out the next day and go get another person because I made it easy. But if we put you through stuff, and you have to pay through your nose, you cannot realize the value of what you have. So that is that sense for those. But my overall thing is like a good person is going to be a good person, regardless of how much they spend or how little they spend. A bad person is always going to be a bad person. And then no one is going to treat you the way you do not want to be treated. Okay. So just because you marry me or you pay something, you marry me, think you're going to toss me around. No, I'm not going to let you toss me around if I don't want to, except if I give you that authority. That's one. But that's just for me. That's for me, my counter speech to Omoye's spill. But on my end, I am for, because I think there's this huge push. There's been like a long, huge push of which I have supported, the long time to like do away with a lot of traditions, without even questioning, without even it's like, oh, we don't want this, okay, bye. We don't want that, okay, bye. So, in the sense of traditional marriage, overall, before the colonial days and everything, that was how we have actually did the marriage thing.
Yes.
The whole court system came in when they introduced legislative actions as far as that is concerned, and judicial judicial ways into our culture. That's one, And then the church part also came in with us converting to Christians, I guess being Christians or Muslims, and just kind of embracing
that culture as well.
Yeah, all the others are as well. So I mean, just for the fact alone that somehow we still managed to keep that little element of, okay, this is what we used to do prior to all of that. I don't know. I just find something so appealing to that. In that sense, I remember even with me, I had so much disregard for traditional. During my wedding, when we were going through like trying to prepare and everything, my parents are giving me so much grief just trying to like butt in, Oh, okay. So at some point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna carry the traditional marriage or whatever. Just handle that. Let me just be in charge of this. So we're not butting heads on anything. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, I came to actually appreciate the traditional marriage more than I actually did the wedding itself. Like, just because I didn't even pay attention, I didn't do anything. Just for them to just say, okay, do this, do that, that's this way, come in this way, that's that way. And it's just like, I just tell you the reason why, or having to like, or my grandma having to like give hand to my mother-in-law. It's kind of almost like some kind of blessing that has to do with fertility, just that one. It doesn't take away my I don't think it took away anything, So when it comes to the bride price itself, I feel that overall we really don't have to just start saying, I don't think people do that anymore, You're not selling somebody. So I'm saying, this is not like a time where you're like, I feel like not doing away with it, and just but having it as a symbolic, still being there as a
our culture that we hold on to.
Yeah, so I'm saying, because I know in my time, my husband presented the price or whatever, and they took like the first note and handed the rest back.
Wow.
Yes. So, but at least it's still there. It's not being done away. Like get out of here or whatever. Because in my sense, why? I mean, for you to even want to start banking on the price of in this day and age, banking on the price you're gonna get from your daughter. For me, just that family itself. If you start even actually, I have two sons. I don't have a daughter. So if I'm going into a family to get married, daughter, and they start really, really going hard, I'm gonna tell my son, I beg you have to rethink this one. No, it's because it doesn't make sense. Just doing away with it, I'm just not for it.
Yeah. So I have a question. So you talked about so the token that was paid, or like the money that was paid by your husband, right? And then they took, I believe it was your dad that took the first note and handed back the rest.
Yes.
Okay. So is that a cultural thing, or that was a choice solely made by your dad, having been his daughter?
It's not obviously it's not a cultural thing. Culturally, you're supposed to pay the bride price and get everything on the list and everything. It was just pretty much just being part of a little bit enlightened, and then just letting his elders know this is what we're gonna do. We're not taking anything from this from my in-laws. See what I'm saying? And then agreeing
to decision to do that.
Choice. Okay.
Yes. So that is kind of pretty much the and then it was agreed on. This is what we're gonna do. And I think a lot of people continue. I think they're doing that now too. Quite a few of them are doing that now. I've known a few people that actually did that also.
So I have another question. Since you are for it for the bride price, right? Because there's the bride price, which is the money, and then there's the list.
Yes.
Right. So and then we know that I not like we know, but like I think that there are some people that cannot really afford. They can afford the bride price. They can't necessarily afford everything on the list. So in your culture, is the bride price negotiable? And in your culture, do you have a say in it?
No, okay, that's a part of it. The culture part, culturally, the bride or the groom doesn't have a say on it. It's the groom's family and the bride's family, and it's definitely negotiable. Because I think back in the day, they actually haggle like they're in the marketplace. It's like almost like you're bidding for meat or chicken, like literally the market, like that's serious. That's what people do, and even in some extent, and then you hear instances where as time goes on, as the modern days are starting to roll in, some family they can't really say no like that, so they will just use the bride price and the list to kind of drive the pursue those the suitor away, because they will jack up the almost like jacking up the price, and like I can't afford this cow, So I don't know if I answered that question. We don't have a say. I mean, generally, the people that are involved, like the directs, like the directs,
the couple
couple don't have a say.
Oh, I used to think that it was only the bride that didn't have a say. I thought it was the groom and his family will come. Like I get the fact that maybe the father and the uncles will speak for the groom, or if the father is not alive, then the uncles will speak for the groom. But I always thought that the groom had an input as opposed to the bride, who really didn't have it. She was like I see the bride in the traditional wedding setting as just this person that is just there to dress up and be done and do what he's told to them.
It's told to do, yeah.
Taking the wine, or if you're going to do something that is related to your culture, picking up a Bible or something, you just go direct you on what to do.
Yeah.
But the bride does not necessarily have a say. So even if there's a situation whereby, using your example of maybe a cow is too expensive, and this is the groom that this person really loves, then they use that to drive the groom away. Can the bride go to her family in that sense and say, this is the man I want to marry?
Yeah.
You are discussing this price and negotiating this thing about me. I want to have a say in this. We can have the bride price, but it has to be something that my man can afford.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, you're able to do that, or compared to back in the day, and especially it also comes out. It also boils down to the kind of family that you're from. If you're from a family that really loves your daughter, your daughter's happiness should be the paramount, aim amongst all of this. That's what I'm saying. If your daughter is saying, "Please, this is a little too much. I don't think it's too harsh. Let's not go this route," you're obviously going to listen to that child. So for me also, if I have future in-laws that are not even trying to listen to their daughter and going hard in this day and age, it's going to call for like a side eye, okay. Yeah, but I know this day and age, the daughters now do have says. You're able to talk to your father. your father, your mother, you're able to call your uncle. These are like all part of the whole elder link because of the way that we are now growing up and we are now interacting with each other. Compared to back in the day when you don't have any say, you don't even come around. They don't even know what is asked as far as Brideprice is concerned or what is even on the list. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, and with that change, that's why I'm actually saying I think we are kind of modernizing the whole process. So that way we can actually make this work. But doing away with everything, oh no. And that's why I'm like, okay, I'm still for this. Let's just kind of find a way to make it work, but not like, okay, get out.
Okay, so I have one more last question. What's the I'm very excited the way you're answering, and I'm also happy for the fact that we know you personally and we know you've been married for a long time. So for you, what's the cultural significance of the Brideprice? I know somebody is saying, are we talking about Brideprice or traditional marriage? They all go in. It's part of the traditional marriage.
Brideprice is paid at the traditional
marriage. Yeah, so it's part of it. But the Brideprice is what we are focusing on today. So for you, as a woman, a wife, a mother now, a wife and a mother now, what's the cultural significance of the Brideprice to you?
You know, I grew up learning. Actually, answering that whole, are we talking about Brideprice or traditional marriage? Actually, the Brideprice is the traditional marriage. Because in some instances, some people, once they do the imego, we call it imego in the Igbo land, you know, that's it. That means they've paid the Brideprice. That they don't even have to do traditional marriage. Like for my sister, that she's married, she's in Jersey, they only did the imego, which is paying the Brideprice, and that was it. They didn't do that. They didn't actually do the traditional marriage. So that is a symbol of actually you fulfilling your part to this is like the part to that's traditional right to have that woman as your wife. So that's how it was passed, and that's how it's always been done. That paying that Brideprice is like that symbol of okay. Now I guess back in the day they're actually really, really selling their daughters or whatever. You know what I'm saying, you know? But now well, how about we so the symbol so that means it's just pretty much the symbolism or what it signifies right now is that you are actually married once you pay that, once you go to that right of paying that Brideprice.
You're actually married. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And you've defended yourself and everything. We really, we appreciate you for answering the questions as well. You're welcome if you want to stay on board, or like you can also decide to leave. It's up to you. But whenever you want to.
Okay. Oh yeah. That means I'm gonna dip out. I'll still be in the comment section though. Let me because I don't want to be chopping onions and you guys hearing it on here.
It looks like these onions now. Wow. Okay. No worries.
All right, but I'm still here. I'm just gonna be listening on my earpiece.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for having me. I'm enjoying this. Bye. I was ready for this. I love this topic. I'm like, yes, let's discuss this. You know.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for
all right, thanks for contributing. Okay.
All right, bye.
Okay, I think we're enjoying this topic so far.
So Pauline Donatus, welcome Pauline. Pauline is saying that I'm all for redefining Brideprice by ensuring men and their family are fully aware of Brideprice means and making amends on the list, because the list is a destiny killer.
I think that's even the issue, because it seems to be as if that there is the Brideprice, there is the list, and there is the traditional wedding ceremony. So Amaka has taught us that in the Igbo culture, the Brideprice is actually the traditional wedding. In the sense that once that is done, then it means that this woman, this is your wife, this is your husband. I don't know what it is like for other cultures, but then again, there's also the list. So do different cultures have their own types of lists? And is it by family that they go about choosing, or is it okay? For example, if you're an Igbo girl, Hausa girl, Yoruba girl, Yoruba girl, this is our traditional list based on traditions historically, or does it vary from tradition to tradition? I don't know. Let's see. And we're posting a link in the comment section. You can come and join the live topic.
And okay. So we are adding the next person, Dominique.
Hey, Dominique.
I think you have to unmute.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys are looking so lovely. I like the whole African outfits, like not Nigerian. You guys are Igbo, right?
No,
we are Robos.
I've not heard of that tribe before. I'm
Yeah,
learning
Niger
every day.
Delta. There are people from the Delta.
Oh, Delta. I've heard about Delta. I've heard about it.
Anyway, so we have the hot topic for today.
Dominic is from Cameroon, so we want to know how the
Cameroon
cultures in Cameroon do it.
So I'm just going to go on. Sorry.
First of all, you have to answer the question: are you for the bride price being abolished or not?
And why?
And then you can talk about it in terms of your culture, because you're Cameroonian and we have Cameroonian common sense squad people. So the floor is yours.
So good evening, everyone. To answer the question directly, no, I'm not to abolish it. Why? I'm going to explain it now. So it's based in, I'll mix it with the culture. So in my culture, so I'm from a tribe called Bamileke in Cameroon. And I think our bride price is similar to Igbo, but not quite the same. So the reason why I was asking whether we're talking about bride price, traditional marriage, because it's not the same in Cameroon. So bride price in Cameroon is like a list that is given to the family of the husband before the traditional marriage can occur. So once that list is fulfilled, then they can come to traditional marriage. And during the traditional marriage, it will be very similar to the Igbo one, because I've been to an Igbo marriage before. But historically, when I've asked my dad, because, our culture is transmitted orally. So when I've asked my dad to explain to me where it came from, it basically came from back in the day, before they can, in order to see whether the husband was going to be able to take care of the wife, they will make that list. But the reason why the list has the goes from a lot of members in the families, because they wanted to make sure that everybody in the family was in agreement with the marriage, and a way to do that was to make sure that they all get everything. Because they've gotten something from the marriage. So it was a way to make sure that both families are uniting for this marriage, because they understood that marriage wasn't just between two individuals, but it was between two families, because they knew the woman was going to have to deal with the family of the man, and then vice versa. So that's the reason why there was that list put in, because the list came from items that each in my tribe. So if somebody wants to marry me, then, my dad, who's like the successor of our family, would then go to his family and my mom's family, to specific members, to say, okay, specific members, and say, here, Dominic wants to get married, just write the list. Now, at the end of the day, my dad will be the one to sign to say that, yes, I've approved, this is the list that we want. So it's not just like somebody can say, I want an aeroplane. My dad will just write aeroplane. No, it's not how it works. And that's why I'm talking about negotiation and all these things, because at the end of the day, once the list goes out, it's final, right? Which is why the negotiation usually is within the father of the bride, or the family of the bride, because they're also aware that they want to facilitate the process. So they decide, at the end, finalize the item, and then they send it to the husband, and then the husband and his family will come together and then make that. In my country, they've actually passed law when the list itself is not allowed to be significant, because a lot of people were getting, they've passed it, so you can actually bring somebody to court now in Cameroon, because the list that they're asking is just extravagant.
Absurd.
So the reason why I'm not against Samolu, you better come. You better come. I'm telling this because of you. So the reason why I'm not against bride price, is because to me, the list historically, right? The list wasn't a big thing, okay? It wasn't a big thing. And I know you said you're not talking about traditional marriage, so I'm not going to talk about it.
You can.
Okay, so
because it's different cultures, right? You're talking about your community.
It's different culture. So I'm not against the list, because in general, the list is not, it's not that much. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm going to put a parenthesis here before I move on to traditional marriage. Here's the thing. We know we are all human beings, and some families are nonsensical, and they will buff up the list. And and there's also colorism back home. There's some tribes back home that if you are light skinned, your bride price is higher than if you are dark skinned. Do you know what I mean?
Wait. There's colorism in bride price.
Yes, because some people have interpreted Brideprice to see how are valued. No, not even interpret. Like Amaka said, people is about how you value the person and everything. Some people value it like people who are light skinned more than people who are dark skinned. And they will say, okay, if you're light skinned, the price goes up. And if you are, dark skinned, the price will not go as high because, of that. So I don't agree with that, but that's what I'm saying. That just because people are misusing something doesn't mean the thing needs to be abolished. Because historically, the significance of that was to make sure the husband can look after to care after the family and everything. So that was one of the reasons that was there. And like I say, with the law in Cameroon and saying you can't, have this massive list and everything, then it's very difficult now to do it. And also to add another caveat to that, if you're a man looking to marry, okay, I think also you have to look at the family, because to me, looking at the bride price list is a good way of judging or
the kind of family your wife is
where the family is. Because let's be honest, let's say I'm going to get married today, okay, and there's a guy who's coming in and he wants to get the list, and the list is like, let's say £10,000, the items on the list, okay. Let's say they said it, obviously that's ridiculous, I'm putting that example. Then as a man, you have to ask yourself, that doesn't make any sense, because let's say neither him or me have a house, okay? That payment can be used to significantly put money to put a deposit for a house, to put in a saving pot for the deposit for a house. So you have then to question as a man, like, how is this family working? Because they know we don't have, these resources. Because any money you are using in the bride price, you can't use it anywhere else. So if you're already going to a family where they're already asking you that much and they're not budging and they're saying, absolutely not, this is how much we want to
final thing,
then you as a man, to me, you should need to reconsider, like, because after you marry this lady, right, you have to have a certain interaction with the family. So if you already have that mindset of we're going to bump up the price to like £10,000, then you have to start thinking, that means that if that family is very transactional, that means that there's probably other things that's going to come with it. You're going to have to contribute every time someone is ill, or every time someone wants to fly abroad, or every time someone wants to go to university. So it gives you a very good mindset on how the family is, because a sensible family who knows where you are going to, how you're going to function after marriage, they would minimize that list. The successor, who is who will be my dad, will minimize that, because he'll know that we need to look out for them, that after they get married, they need to continue with their own life. So I think it can give you a good idea. Now, the way the traditional marriage in Cameroon works is very beautiful. And that's why I will never say no to bride price, because this is how it happens on the day, right? So on the day, you have the family of the man comes in, okay, and the family of comes to the family of the
bride.
Bride. Yes. So when they come to the family of the bride, in my culture, I won't be there to begin with, okay? So what happened is there's a conversation between the successor of my family, which will be my dad, and the successor of my husband's family, okay? They are now having the discussion in front of everybody, okay? They're not saying, it's not saying like, I've seen the beautiful flowers,
they talk about
whatever they do, they have to be very poetic. The reason why they are making sure that the successor of each family is talking is because they are the gatekeeper of that family. Okay, so they're the gatekeeper. It's not because it's sexism. Okay, it's because they're the gatekeeper of the family. Because even the husband is somewhere in the room. So when my dad will be like, okay, fine, I have a flower, right? And they'll bring it. Now, this is where it's different from Igbo culture. I'm saying that in case what I've seen is, the common, is because in my tribe, they'll bring a girl who is completely covered up from head to toe, which is why it's so exciting. And they'll say, oh, is this the person?
They do
so
it.
you will have, and then the successor will have to decide, is that the person? And the reason why is the successor of the family and not the husband is to show that the family of the husband knows you well enough that anybody can pick you out. Because they realize that it's a marriage between two families, not between individual. Okay. So, and then they'll pick and they'll say, is this the one? And he will look and he will say maybe yes or no, right? If he says no, they'll say, okay, we're going to bring another one. And it's very beautiful because at the end, when they pick the right one and say, is this lady, right? Then they uncover me. Then what will happen then? You'll be like, okay, we've seen what you've said, so let us discuss this. Then my dad will give me palm wine, okay, in a cup, and he'll say, okay, go look for your husband. So then I'll drink the palm wine to say that I consent to what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Then I'll go into the room, and my husband is not allowed to move, because this is an indication that he's not trying to coerce me to pick him, but I'm picking him of my free will. Then I go and I dance and everything, and it gets a bit exciting, because at that time you have some guy saying, "Oh, it's me," Like, no, you know, my husband and everything. So it's very funny that way. And then I'll meet my husband, and when I meet my husband, the sign that he's my husband is the man I'm going to kneel to and give a drink. The reason why I'm kneeling is for two reasons. One is practical, one is like, you know, to talk about submission in marriage. But the practical aspect is that my husband is going to be sat down. So in order for us to be at eye level, I have to kneel down so that we get to eye level, because I'm standing. And then I'm giving him the cup,
Wine.
the wine to drink, because when he's drinking, it means that he's consenting to me. So his family has chosen me. Now I'm drinking and I'm going to choose him. And he's not drinking to say, I'm also choosing you. Then both of us start dancing. Okay, dancing, obviously, you know, we are African, we have to dance all the time. We both come, and he now stands up, and then we stand up together, okay? And we stand up together to say that we are united in this. And together we now go dance to my dad. And now I'm giving the cup to my dad, okay? So I'm giving the cup to my dad, and my dad would tell me, "Do you want me to drink this wine?" The reason why he's telling me, "Do you want me to drink?" is because he's telling, and he said to me, once I drink it, I can't spit it out. So he's telling me, "Are you sure of your choice?" And once he drinks it, for all intents of purposes, in my tradition, we are married. Because everyone has consented. Because my dad doesn't just represent him, he represents my whole family, right? Because he's a successor. So they know they will have discussed it with my mom and all these things. You know what I mean? So and then sometimes there's a very beautiful thing that happens, because when that then happens, then what happens a lot of the time, like the women of the family will now come up and they will start dancing around me, and they would then send me off to my husband. Okay, so it's so beautiful. It involves everybody, and obviously there's a lot more things that happen, but I just want to keep to time, because the master has arrived, Samolu. But this is the reason why I don't think it should be abolished, because it's something that is so beautiful. And yes, people will always abuse of it, but then that tells you that maybe I shouldn't be with this family, because it doesn't make any sense to have that such a long list for, especially when afterwards you're still building your own lives. So.
That's true.
Thank you so much,
Dominique. We'll add Samolu now, and then we'll
get
come
back to you
and see what happens.
All right.
Let's see what Samolu has to say.
Yes. Okay. So you can go behind the stage, and then he comes in.
Put you behind the scene. So, Samolu, you are here.
Hey, hello, guys. Hello, ladies.
Hello. Welcome.
Good evening. Welcome.
Oh, you know, I just remember I was in a meeting with because I'm in a meeting with my old student association. Today, in my former secondary school, we are having our 40 years anniversary Founders Day, and they are really having a very big party in Nigeria. So I joined them online. So with some of my colleagues that all over the world, in US, Canada. So everybody were online, you know, people that you've seen for a long time. So it was really an exciting moment. We were really having fun. I was even, you know, as I'm talking to you, I have an alcohol with me. I was saying I'm even celebrating from here. So I showed them. That's why I don't want to open my video, because my eyes is closed as if I'm drunk.
It's okay, no worries. Oh wow! Congratulations for your 40 years. That's good.
Yes. So my secondary school alma mater was 40 years. It was the school started with during Jakonde time. You know, when they started this mass education, free education. So that was when the school was open during Jakonde time. Jakonde was former Lagos State governor in the early 80s. So that was when the school was started.
Did you share this link with your secondary school chats for them to come and join the conversation in the future?
Yes.
I was telling them that I'm going to online for the program. I think I'm going to copy it from the YouTube. I'm sharing it with them. Let me.
I don't know.
Oh, if I need to, I'm on my phone. If I need to leave, it's going to affect my talk. You know, I didn't really see what you guys were talking. The topic for this today. It was this afternoon that my wife was telling me, common sense sister are talking about bride price today. And that was when I was going to the meeting. I've been on that meeting online for 4 hours.
Oh, okay. Now,
so I didn't even really have time to go online and read. But at least from my experience in the past and what I've read, and the reason why we want to be opposed to bride price is this. It's not only about being symbolic. A lot of times they will say, oh, it's because bride price is symbolic, because it's all about, showing that the man really is committed to marriage and all those stuff. You know what? I will say my example. When I got married with my wife, Omoti, we didn't really do all these big society weddings. I don't really even believe in wasting money on marriage. We only did our tradition and we went to registry. That was all I did. In fact, on our registry day, we went to, after the registry, I just took everybody, about 15 people were there. I took them to Chicken Republic, order food for them. I didn't even spend up to 15,000. I was doing fine. I was doing that working in bank. I have colleagues that got married, that borrow money, and they were paying debt after their marriage. They're paying money. I have a friend that married from Akwa Ibom that they said knocking on the door alone is going to pay 500,000. My friend borrowed about 2 million.
Samolu, you are rushing this. You are rushing this. Just you cannot be rushing it. For those who do not understand, you see, we're talking about
guys.
Right?
I am on a show. My kids are disturbing me. Go and meet mommy. I'm on a show. Please go and meet mommy.
Understand?
Yeah, take it. I'm on the show. Yeah. Let me even show my face. This is my face.
Now you come.
See, I'm still drinking. I'm drinking Tomate. See. That is to my secondary school 40 years anniversary. That's what I've been,
Celebrate. This is for your secondary school. We celebrate for your secondary school. Congratulations to them.
Yes.
So, Samolu, these are the questions, right? Are you
okay
for bride price or against why? Then all your stories will come in. And then when you are telling your stories, when you use the word like knocking, you have to explain it.
Yeah, okay. I will explain it. So
I will watch after the show, they understand.
So I am against bride price. And the reason why I am against is this. I have two people who are very close to me, personal to me, my very close friend and my brother. My brother even married across, my brother married a Zimbabwe girl who is well read, very educated. The wife is a doctor. So, by the virtue of our being well read, level of the education, the spend. So my brother lives in South Africa. It's my immediate brother, the one I followed. No, it's not that. So from the same father and the same mother, I contributed money to him too when he wanted to marry. When he was telling me he has to pay $12,000, but because the mom likes him, they have to cut it to pay $6,000 US dollars, not Zimbabwe dollar, US dollar. Yes.
Okay. Wait, was there a list attached or it was just money?
Wait, Samolu, looks like you have a background noise. There's something talking in your background.
Bella, can you close the door? I mean, the man is coming from the. Is there still background noise? Okay, I think the computer is on. I wanted to do.
You can mute it there.
Okay.
It's better now. Thank you. Yeah, so you can carry on.
Good. So I'm very clear now. So, based on that, my brother, when he wanted to marry, said he's going to pay 12,000. I said, what? Because you want to marry. You are marrying each other. It's not that you are buying something like a slave. It's husband and wife. Why do you have to pay that much? I said that's their culture. It's like they are Igbos. That was what he was able to tell me that they are like Igbos. You pay this and that. Yes, in Zimbabwe.
So a Zimbabwean person. That is a
yes.
person.
Yes, it's that their culture is like in Igbo that you pay. You know, I'm Yoruba, my wife is Yoruba. We don't really have to pay. But in Yoruba, there is symbolic in the sense that you put money in the envelope. They call it owo yawole, all those stuff. So those owo yawole, they are not that much. Maybe like 1,000, 2,000. Those ones, like the owo yawole means that the money you pay, you give to. It's like a gift you give to other wives that were married into the family, into that family. So you are giving them like you are giving them like a gift. So those, but the money that you now say you pay for dowry, you ever call it dowry, not really bride price. It's the money you pay for the wives. Actually, I didn't even remember. Maybe I pay something like that. But in Yoruba, so for people that do it,
for you not to remember, that's a good thing.
For Yoruba people, then when they pay it, they will say they return the money. You will say, they will just say they don't need it. They will just return it. That no, we are not selling our daughter, so they return it. That is how it is. So I think, like I was saying, I said my marriage was a very economical marriage. I didn't spend much, but I have colleagues that spend a lot of money. They borrow, like you see some of them, even they will still borrow additional money for, because we are working in bank. So a lot of we have access to loan. It's easy. Within so you apply for loan, you get it because you're a bank staff, you get money. So I have colleagues that borrow like 2 million and they spend, I'm talking about 2010, 2009, 2000 I married 2011. And so a lot of my colleagues, they borrow money, they do a very big wedding, and after they will be struggling. I said, I'm not going to waste money on marriage that much. I am very, so I'm somebody that is, I would say I'm conservative because I'm a progressive in my belief and ideology. But I am not that somebody that want to waste money on things that you can avoid. That just, why do you have to waste this much money to impress people? So when I was preparing for my marriage, well, my auntie was trying to convince, let's do everything together. We'll spend, do this, and I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm just going to go to the registry and we do the traditional wedding in my wife's mother's compound. And that was how I did. In fact, I did not spend for my marriage. Let me tell you, all together, I did spend up to 200,000.
So in the traditional marriage, was bride price not paid?
Yeah.
No,
like
bride price
attached. You know how
did they give you lists?
Let me.
No list was given. We just know what you have to take to the family. It's like exchange of gifts. We take all these stuff like farm product, like yam and those things.
This gift in the
We
back.
exchange gifts. When we give them something, they also give us stuff. That's how it is done.
They give you too.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we give them stuff, they also give us their stuff. That's how we do it. That was how we did it. So we will go with maybe yam and all those stuff. And they also will give us all their own gift, like fruits and all those stuff. It's like you are exchanging gifts. That is how it is done. And that was how we did our own this thing. I could remember some of my friends, if somebody was saying, you still need to go to church for pastor blessing. I say, nonsense. Which pastor? Pastor blessing. Who needs all their name blessing?
It's not like you had you enjoyed your own ceremony or the background. So right now, why are you against bride price? Why are you against?
Exactly.
In total, or is it because of the expenses that some people exaggerate that makes the
Yes, I got to know. I didn't know that. I got to know about bride price a little. Let's say maybe when I became a bachelor and I begin to have friends who in other cultures, especially in Igbo, especially among the Igbos friends, that when they want to get married, they will begin to, we have to do this. I was born in Yoruba. I grew up in Lagos, so all I know about is Yoruba. I have sisters. I have sisters that have gotten married before me. What I know is what you call in our culture. What I got to know about my sister that married in 80s. I was very young. What I know is that they call it dowry. Dowry in Yoruba. The proper Yoruba tradition is that they don't collect bride price. What we do is called dowry, just like the culture of India. What dowry is all about is that when a lady is going to her husband's house, the father is supposed to give that lady all those property that she is going to be entitled to. So that when the father dies, she's not going to share from the property. Then it will be left for the male child. So you will give her everything that she's entitled to when she's going to her husband's house. So when my sisters in the 80s, who happen to be my house sisters, when they were getting married, my dad will buy them furniture, a bed, and all those stuff. He will give them all those things when they are going to their husband's house.
Wow.
Yes, that is how that. So I asked my dad. He said, he said that's the culture that he met. My father was very old. I was born when my father retired. I was born in a polygamous family. So my father was born in 1916.
Mhm.
So he's an old man. So he knows about so he understands culture even before the pre-colonial era from his father. So he told me about Yoruba culture. This thing is trying to talk.
Just mute it.
Yeah. So my dad told me that in Yoruba culture, when a woman is getting married, what the standard is that you are going to give her everything that she supposed to be her inheritance when you die. So she takes it to her husband's house. That was the initial Yoruba culture. It's now people have now tried to bring in other people's culture to say that, oh, Yoruba, you pay bride price. It was never Yoruba culture. If you really read all these Yoruba historical stories, in Yoruba culture, when a woman gets married, the parents were supposed to support. There is this movie done by Tadio Gidon. He did it for African Magic. It was a long time. When a woman is going to her husband's house, they give her properties, they give her everything. She takes everything to her husband's house. What it means is that when the father died, she's not going to come and share from the inheritance. The inheritance is now left for the male child.
So it's like giving it to her to go with and say, this is your own share. Yes.
Share, yes, you go to your husband, this is your own share. That was how Yoruba culture was. That has been. It was later, maybe after post-colonial era, that they start introducing other things they get from other culture that, you make bride price. But bride price is never part of Yoruba culture. What is the Yoruba culture? It's called dowry.
Bride price. So that means bride price is even the wrong term to use to go about this. It's supposed to be dowry.
It's different.
So then my question for that part of the in the event that the bride loses her,
something is making noise in your. Who is hitting something in your background?
Omoti, I'm in the kitchen. They say something is making noise.
So Amaka is cutting on yours. Omoti, what are you cutting in the kitchen?
Because I can't hear you. I'm using Bluetooth. I'm using my earpiece.
Let me explain my case. Okay, so in the event that, God forbid, the bride's, or rather, in the olden days, the bride's father is dead before the bride is married, or the bride does not get married before the father dies, how is that inheritance thing transferred if it's not a dowry? I don't know if that.
Well, I understand your question. That one is something that I can't really explain because I don't really have an answer to it, because a lot of people a lot of them really married. Either you marry as a first wife, second wife, or third wife. Yes, you hardly see people that are not married. Somehow somebody will come and marry the person, or they just somehow make you third wife. That's it, Unlike now that people is one wife to one husband, so it's not really something that I can really answer, That's my. But the reason why I am against bride price is this. I am against bride price. Number one, when I first heard about bride price, I think I was a bit matured, and I find it very ridiculous that you have to pay money on a human being, and you call it culture. We have a lot of culture that are passed from us from one generation to another. Somebody started it. Culture was not, it didn't come from heaven. That is why you have culture across different location. Why this one is different from this one is different from that. It is not because that was, it's passed from generation to another. And over time, people begin to amend that culture. And it is what you take from the previous generation, you say, oh, this is how our forefather used to do it. It's somebody that started it. And somebody tried to limit the potentials of women by attaching a price on them. In Kenya, there's in Kenya, there's a particular tribe. The bride price is in agricultural produce, or in you have to pay with cow and all those stuff. Even in South Africa, they have it. They call it labola in a tradition in South Africa. But one thing I've seen over time is that I have seen people who are being abused, and what the common among those abusers, they say, "What do you mean? I bet price on you," and that is it. They will say, "What do you mean? You can't talk to me. I paid money on you. I bet price on you." 2 days ago, I think it said 2 days ago. Was it today or yesterday? There was a lady that was doing a video in an Uber, and the Uber driver, she didn't show the face. It was posted by Instablog. He said, "You're so beautiful. I want to buy you. I can pay 1 billion on you." Can you imagine? That is very. But this guy was so mature. She didn't even make the guy feel bad. She just said, "Oh no, I am not a commodity. You can't buy me."
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that level of mentality? You are making that lady look, "Oh, you are so beautiful." So she are also assess her and say, "Oh, this is your worth. This is how much I can pay to your parents to buy you." It make look as if women are like a commodity. That is why you see people that has a lot of money. They believe that they can marry any woman. Some of them will not even talk to the lady. They will just go to the parents and say, "I want to marry your daughter. I'm going to pay this."
Really?
Yes, that is it. Because they believe that, okay, how much is your bride price? Maybe your parents, they will just say, "Okay, 5 million. I have the money. What's the big deal? 10 million, and I'm going to be taking care of them after I marry you." So you are attached. The person involved. It's not even about love. It's not even about your emotions. It's about the fact that I transaction. You make like a property that you have acquired, like one of your furniture, and that is why people have been abused, and they believe that because I paid money on you as a man, I don't have to do anything. After all, I paid bride price. Why should I come and wash plates for you in the kitchen? Why should I come and clean the toilet after all the money I paid to your parents? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? Because you see that as one of the items you bought. It's like one of your car, one of your property you buy in Africa. And this is the reason why women should be empowered. That is why women should make to understand that, a lot of in Nigeria, a lot of women believe that stay married and an escape from poverty, and they will be looking for a rich man to come and pay their bride price, which is common in the East, because Yoruba people are a bit liberal. I don't really know much about Hausa culture. But
in those days they used to flog the men to show the strength. So the man that can chest the most flogging.
That's what they told us in social
studies. So I don't know an actual wedding. They will flog them. The one that chest, like what is the English of chesting?
The one that can sustain the pain.
Yeah, sustain the pain. Then they will be the one to marry the daughter.
Again, that's what we're told in the second social studies. So we don't know if it's true, but that's what we're told. But they also carry.
Yes, there is a culture in Hausa. It's not all of them that does that. There is a culture within them that will be there. But I'm not sure that will be applicable to somebody that has money, that's very wealthy. They flogging each other.
Culture is flexible when there's money involved. So is it really, really culture? If you can be swayed by cash, or debits alert,
because this dowry you talked about in the Yoruba culture, was it cut across all Yoruba culture at that time? Because someone from Ogun State, will they not be different from someone from Osun State? And like the culture, they have all those intra-ethnic culture and all those things. Was the dowry thing cut across all the Yorubas?
Yes, I am from Ogun State. I am from Ogun State, but I also have families that are from other states, and I have never seen that where they place so much money on what you call bride price or whatever, or you want, or dowry, whatever you want to call it. But what I have and what I know that is synonymous with all the traditional marriage I have attended, mostly in Yoruba, is because it's an exchange of gifts. When you give gift to in fact, in Yoruba culture, before the economic issue, is the wife family that spend money on marriage. In husband family, they don't spend money because it's the wife family that is hosting you. It's the wife family that spend money. That was when Nigeria was good. It's the wife family that will pay.
This thing is different. So how in the Yoruba culture can they investigate to know that the man can take care of the woman if they are the ones entertaining and also giving diary to the bride to carry? How can they investigate to know that the man
is the woman that's marrying the man?
It's like, it now sounds like it's the woman that's marrying.
Of course, before they go into the traditional wedding, the family will have both family will have met. They will have asked some question about, this is what are you doing? What's the guy doing? What kind of job he does? Who is he? Who is the family? And all those stuff. They will have done that. They call it introduction. In fact, when I was growing up, when they are preparing for marriage, then because I witnessed a lot of I have older sister who got married when I was a very young boy. They will call it first introduction. Then they call it essay. They call it letter introduction. You write letter to the family. That it's like a mini introduction this day. But everything now, everybody they just merge everything into one day activity. Yeah. They will take letter to the family. Then they respond back with the letter that we saw somebody in your family, a flower that we want to come and plug, and they return it. And that was how those acted. So in the process of doing that, every family will have met each other. You'll have known the family, what kind of family this person comes from, what type of job the person does. All those stuff will have been, investigated before the final, traditional wedding. Then before, if they want to do the church wedding, so that is still. So they do all those investigations.
That's very, very interesting. That's interesting.
I think I know a lot of meetings.
So this thing I'm saying are practical things that I witnessed as a young boy. That as my sisters got married, because my father married 3 wives, and in the 80s I witnessed when my sisters were getting married, my half sisters. So I could really understand, because as a child, I do ask a lot of questions. I will ask my dad, and my dad is a very patient person. Somebody, he doesn't short you, that will explain to you, this is what we're doing, and what, and this is the next stage. And that's how I begin to, understand the Yoruba culture.
I think that's very, very good. See how important it was that your father passed down this knowledge. Because I've learned a lot of things today. And thank you too for speaking about that diary thing, because it was something I was going to bring up
later. But I have something to say, because this one we personally witnessed it, yeah.
At least 3 of my sisters married before my father died. All of them, my father made bed furniture for them when they are going to their husband's house.
That is amazing. And I wonder if in this day and age, recent years, if that culture among the Yorubas is still practiced, because we know of someone that gave lists to the groom's family.
And that is what I am saying. It's because Yoruba culture has been, diluted. Those are not the real Yoruba culture. It's what they are taking from other culture. That is not real Yoruba. The real Yoruba culture is that when a woman is getting married, the family of the wife's family hosts the wedding, all expenses paid by the wife, the bride's family. And when the bride is going to her husband's house, they give her everything she needs to start. The standard is that they buy her all our kitchen utensils, like all the pots, everything that she needs to cook for the husband, everything she needs. They buy that. Those are the standard Yoruba culture. It was supposed to be taken from her parents' house when she's going to her husband's house. So it's part of the support you give to them as husband. So they were not supposed to take anything from the family except exchange of gifts that they give. The family will give them. They come with maybe yam and all those stuff. And when they're going, you also have some gifts that you are packing and you give to them. That was the standard. I am not against that because it's a beautiful thing. You exchange gifts between each other. But I am against is that attaching my friend married from Akwa Ibom, attaching a price to to an individual because I want to buy you, and you begin to negotiate. My friend says they asked him to pay knocking of the door. Knocking of the door means introduction. That you want to even come and say you saw our daughter, you love it. They said 500,000. My friend negotiate over time. He was able to negotiate to 150K. Yes, he paid that 150K, but on the wedding bride price, they said he's going to support the family for the party and all those. Eventually, he parted about 1.2 million. Yes, because he lives in Lagos and he went to go and take the wife in Akwa Ibom. He paid all. He even took some loan from the bank. And in fact, on that wedding day, I wasn't there. Another friend was telling me, this guy is broke. That he spent all the money. He was still needing some money. They called me that, can I send money? That I said, I don't. Do I send it to go and marry from the
My
east?
family did not give the bride anything to go into the marriage with.
The funniest thing is married from a very good family. Let me say good. He's married from at least a relatively average family that they are not poor. But despite that, they drained the guy. The guy eventually spent over 2.something million. As at 2001, 2011. That was 10 years ago.
At that time, how much was dollars? I think it was 100.
250.
Was that? You not reach 250, 2011, now 150.
No, okay, 150. Dollar was 150 then.
Jonathan time.
Make I calculate this 150 times. They say 1 point something
2 million.
How many zeros per day million?
6 zeros.
2 million times
150.
150.
That's about 300,000 naira.
$300,000 at that time. That's about 300.
No, it can't be $300,000. 150 divided by 2 million.
This is our math.
Not times.
Not times. This guess.
Public disgrace.
Hey, that girl says I'm a
Dominica said it's 2,000 pounds for wedding. Almost.
That's as at that time in 2011.
13,000
US dollars.
Yes.
Nah, man, nah. That's too much.
So imagine when people have spent that kind of money for marriage, when you get into marriage, that can be the first challenge in your marriage.
Yes.
First of all, you begin to that attitude towards your wife. You are broke. You just be showing that attitude. You don't even have money to go. You don't even have money to go on what do you call it? Honeymoon. You don't even have money to do all those stuff. You are always, being, aggressive towards her. And within 1 year, some people who are not very strong, their marriage can, break down. It can break down within 1 year because, number one, you have already exhausted yourself before you even get to the marriage. These are the money that you need to start your life as human being. I'm not saying people cannot spend money on wedding. You've seen couples that their parents, they have saved a lot of money. It's their happy day. They're happy that their children are getting married. So they are ready to spend all the money. But not from a guy that the parents are they are depending on him. He is the breadwinner in the family. The parents are depending on, and he's spending how much on wedding. Compared to somebody whose parents have money already, he's not even spending a couple. The parents say, "Don't worry, we are going to spend all the money." When my sister were getting married, then it's my parents that are spending the money. My sister were working, they're working class, but their parents were spending. Nigeria was very good then, you don't have to spend the cover. But when I wanted to get married, my father was already very old. I can't go and be asking, Daddy, you buy this. I was once spending money for myself, so I already planned myself. I'm not going to spend this money.
Yeah.
I am happily married today. I didn't spend what I spent then. It's not even up to 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, you're not rich. But that's we're getting the general gist from everybody today. So everybody's really against the expensive when it's abused, when the culture is abused, and there's this price tag.
He's against.
Yes, the price is abused because in the East you see they give them list. The list will worth millions of naira, and you've seen people, ladies that guys that don't want to marry, they are still looking for money. because they said they cannot afford the bride price.
Right.
And you will now see people getting to a certain age, they don't get married.
Yeah.
They don't get married because maybe the person that wanted to marry them, he cannot afford the money, or they married very late. Why should we have committee of elders that doesn't even contribute a penny into your life,
Yeah.
and they are the one demanding all this amount of money? Or
Yes.
they say, oh yes, you are not going to get married. Why should we, why should people be abused? And when you hear from the abuser, the first statement that comes from their mouth, I paid money on you. You can't talk to me like that.
Yeah. That's
Why do you?
Woman doesn't have a say after this whole money has been spent in situations that are extreme like this. Obviously, they paid $13,000 on your head, even if you are not even eating from the money. There is going to be that resentment from that upcoming man,
exactly,
husband, telling you the reality of things. Okay. Thank you so much.
And it also reduces you as a woman when a man see you as like a property that I paid money for. You should live like now. Me and my wife, we live like a partner, or we live like we don't even see ourselves as husband and wife. That's the way I think. I am very, very so liberal. I don't see my wife as husband. We live as a partner. When I mean we live as a partner, what I mean is that a lot of things, my wife will just say, "Oh, we are going to do this," and ask me. I'll just say, "That's fine." She doesn't have to, say that in my final say before she made decision. There was a time on Facebook. I said people were saying I was on a group we call Life on Facebook. They said they now ask you a question. Tell me what happened in a relationship you've been in before. Why you break up from the relationship?
Yeah.
Why you break up and I said I broke up from a relationship because that the lady I was dating never queried me if I do anything, no matter how worthless it is. I love my wife because she challenged me. When I say something, she challenged me. She give me an alternative. And I will say, I will reason, that's true. What you saying?
You're also a man that respects her and you see her as a human being.
That's
so
different.
So regardless, and like you value those old true customs and tradition of the Yoruba people that you recognize that you have this woman is whole as a woman in herself.
Yeah.
You've seen that in your sisters. Your father was able to pass that down to you. You are from this kind of family that you saw your working class sisters get married and they were escorted with the help of your father, and you're able to recognize that. So in no matter what sense, you would always see Omoti as a complete human being that he is, which is a different mindset from some other African men who, even if they didn't even have to pay bride price,
exactly,
because there are some people who are cohabiting, already have children, they've never paid bride price, but they still see the woman as a property.
So let's hold it here, and then let's because we will have like the panel where we put everybody together.
Okay.
Just leave you in the background, and then we'll just add Toby. We'll just put Toby on to come and
Okay.
All right. Hi, Toby.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man.
This is intense. Greetings. I greet you guys. Now they try well. The great topic, great show. I've been listening for a while now, and so you guys are gonna just hit me with the questions. I'm ready.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me put it on the screen. Let me put it. No, the topic came in. So the topic of today, obviously, is whether you are for or against bride price.
Yes, I see that.
And why do you want it to either remain or be abolished?
Yes. So I'm just gonna come out straight and say abolish it, and I'm gonna prove it. Abolish it straight up. Now, first of all, this actually connects to part of some of the things we're talking about last time, right? Over time, by the way, it's not just limited to Africa. A simple research will show that globally, worldwide, this is a common phenomenon, and then it goes all the way back to before we began to record history, before civilizations began to emerge, actually, before even organized religion, because some would justify with the Bible or with the Quran. because if you read in maybe somewhere Exodus 22, Deuteronomy 22, Quran chapter 4, verse 4, whatever, they would say, oh no, you see, even the word of God says. So all of these things, they were just a simple adoption of cultural norms that were reigning at the time, way back in the day. And as time evolved, people maintain the culture. And it stems from the mindset where the man is idealized and the woman is objectified. It's that simple. It is that simple. The man is seen as the very image of God, mythified. But the woman is this weak thing, that you got to come for. And then when you come as a man, you're supposed to pay. It's that simple. That mindset is what is responsible for how the woman is being merchandised and is being commoditized. It is that simple. There's no other way around it. Now, when you come to Africa, I've been listening, and people are talking about symbolisms and all of that. Well, there are several ways we can actually accommodate symbolic gestures. Just to buttress what Samolu was talking about. I'm half Yoruba. Okay, when my sister was getting married, exactly what he said. When they will exchange gifts. Number one, and number two, the money that was brought in an envelope, my parents just took one note out of it. They did the same thing in our case. So just took one note out of it and gave the rest back to the family. And the Yorubas like to say, "Fetomowa," like we're not selling our child. So they're very, very big on that. So now, what is the middle ground? The middle ground is if you scrap it, there are other ways you can show this gesture. There are other ways you can show the symbolic or the symbolism of the whole thing. But we cannot avoid the fact that when you put a price, when you say bride price, there's no other way to say it, guys. You are basically saying you are buying somebody. And so what I think Samolu was making this point, for somebody it might be a symbolism. They might say, oh, it's just mere symbolic gesture. You guys are taking this too seriously. Well, guess what? What you call a symbolic gesture has practical implications in people's lives. So I have seen several times where men will get in the middle of an argument with their spouse. And instead of dealing with the bone of contention, instead of dealing with the issue, maybe the wife calls out their BS or whatever, they make a straight beeline for the bride price. And they say, after you have no right to challenge me. You have no right to challenge my authority. After all, I paid your bride price. I came to your father's house. I married you. Oh, by the way, in the minds of these men, many of them think by paying that bride price, they're actually the one marrying the woman. And not the other way around. Yeah. So a lot of them believe that the woman, you're not marrying them. He is the one marrying you. He's the one actually that came for you. He chose you. So everything is wrong with that mindset. Are there other ways we could actually say, okay, the guy could be nice to the family, maintain part of that culture? I'm not for abolishing our culture, no. But there are certain aspects of our culture that needs to be abolished. This is one of them for me. This is it. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So, I think, what do you think that even if for some people that are experiencing domestic violence in their marriage, that did not pay dowry?
Yeah, so maybe people who are cohabiting and happen to have children.
Yes.
For example.
But they still abuse their partners or like the women.
Oh yeah, so great question. Let's make something very clear. I am not suggesting that everyone who paid the bride price turns out to be an abuser. No, that's not what we're saying. There are amazing men out there who observed the traditional rites and they are, pulling their weight and being responsible towards their spouse. But what we are saying is that the very tag, the monetary tag you put on the woman is what I'm against. Okay. Yeah, that is my primary problem. And number two, it is weaponized by most men. The bride price is weaponized by most men in the middle of an argument or in an altercation. This is what happens. So we can talk about symbolisms, but let's also talk about what is practical, what is out there, what is happening. Every time the man walks around thinking that you are my trophy, That's what it is. You're my trophy. I came for you. I paid for you. I bought you. On the one hand, the man wants to see the woman as a partner. He wants to see as an equal partner. But on the other hand, some days he sees you as a property. Well, Negro, pick your hustle. Which one is it? Is she your partner or is she your property? You can have it both ways. It is that simple. It is that simple. So I'm for abolishing it. Look, I love traditional marriage. In fact, I don't even like the white wedding where they wear white gown and all that stuff. But if the woman wants it, God bless her. I'm for our traditional rights, okay? But I'm saying there are certain aspects of that. And this very issue, it's part of it. I cannot tell you how many friends I talk to who open up and talk about how this is an issue for many of these men. And they talk about especially in their minds, one day they're confused, one day you're my equal, the next day, oh no, you can't challenge me, you can't question me because I came to marry you. You did not marry me. I was the one who came to marry you in your father's house. It's that simple. So I'm like that.
Don't you think, and I had this exact same something similar to what Dominic was asking of, are you saying that men who are currently using Brideprice as a weapon will stop disrespecting their wives if they've not paid Brideprice? And to add on what Dominic was saying, just in summary, does it then mean that aren't we then supposed to look at the man as the person who is problematic and not really the whole Brideprice ceremony? Because if the man keeps saying, I paid your Brideprice, I paid a Brideprice, and that there's a tag on it, you can actually sum it up and say, okay, how much did you pay? This is the amount of money you've paid. I've lived with you over the years. And if you want me, I can provide that money to you. Do you think that can be a solution? Because if you keep saying, I paid your Brideprice, I paid your Brideprice, let's say people have been married for 25 years. If we're looking at the value of that Brideprice, it's quite dead. After years.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't it then be the man who has the problem of
so
what the situation is, and he keeps plugging that situation?
Again, thank you, Ella. Great question. So, first of all, I maintain my position on the Brideprice. Okay, it is one of the last vestiges of an old culture tradition that we need to get away with. That's what I'm saying. So I maintain that. Now, if this one, if getting away with it or if doing away with it will drive us further or move us further towards a healthy companionship, a healthy relationship, so be it. I don't mind. Now we can now talk about the big conversation. There are all kinds of things wrong with all kinds of people, guys. Okay, so yeah, you are right. The man might be the one that has the problem, but we see a pattern though. The disturbing, tragic pattern that we see is that men will invoke the Brideprice in the middle of an argument. They do it, guys.
Yes.
We can have an intellectual conversation and have fun about it. But let's talk about anecdotes. Let's talk about people who are actually living real lives and going through this thing. So I'm saying that, yeah, the man might have his personal problem. He might have his own issues. Yeah. But I'm saying this is one impetus. This is one fuel. This is something that is adding to that problem he already has. And I'm saying do away with it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Thank you so much, Toby. Just we'll remove you now from the screen, but you still be in the background and because there's Chuxi.
Absolutely.
And we'll see.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Yeah.
And before we even put Chuxi, I think what I'm noticing from what Toby and Samulu are saying, because the two guys who have come in, they've had the same idea of the problem of a tag, a price attached to it. So we'll see what Chuxi has to say.
Hey, Chuxi.
Hello, what's up, girls?
Hey, how are you
doing?
Longest time.
Longest time.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, it's a very nice topic. I always go by this each time I'm having an argument or whatever, a debate or whatsoever with anyone. I always try to ask them to know their background first. Are they married? Are they living with someone? Have they had any experience of marriage before? Because when we talk about Brideprice, we came to the world, we notice just like someone who goes to the church. Some of the things in the Bible, we don't know them. Some of the things, we don't even know God. We don't know if God exists, but deep inside our heart, we know that there is always God. And each and every one of us try to walk in the absence of God, spiritually, try to be copy the image of God. Understand? And the issue of this Brideprice that we're talking about, our fathers have done it. Our mothers have done it. A lot of people have done it. with saying that such things should be abolished. I think it goes a long way in defining us as individuals. You understand?
So
And
are you for it
secondly,
or you're against it? Are
I'm
you
for it. I'm for it. I'm for it because even though even though it doesn't work, just like when I mentioned about Bible and some of the doctrine in the Bible, even though we don't know Bible, we don't know if those things really exist, but we are indoctrinated to it. Some of the words and some of the things we see in the Bible.
Okay, so
And
you're
no
saying
one
that
has
you're worried because people have done it before us, people are still doing it. So let's
exactly
to do it because it's what happened to us.
because our tradition is all right. You know, no matter what we do, we cannot do our tradition. Like today, look at the way you guys are dressed. You are in Canada. Why didn't you guys dress in a t-shirt and a kind of
It's a
tighty stuff like that? You
It's
know,
a choice. We just like
No.
dressing up. It's a choice.
no, it's quite impressive. You understand? You understand? I love it. I love it. You guys are looking gorgeous. That was one of the things that attracted me today. The show.
Yeah, we like to whatever. Okay, and I know you watch our videos a lot, and then when we come out to do certain videos, we like to look the part. We like to look the part of the video because it goes a long way.
Exactly. That's
our choice.
you guys are right.
But thanks for the compliment. So I want to ask you a question. I understand that you said that it's our culture and it's our tradition. It's who
And
we
it's
are,
our
right?
pride as well. I love the word
And
pride.
it's our pride. Yes,
That's
it's our pride.
Exactly.
That's a good one. It's our pride in your own word. Do you think that it should evolve if it's affecting some people, like young people who want to, like a man and a woman who really love themselves, like they genuinely love themselves, and the only stumbling block here is that they are being exploited. Both of them are being exploited because obviously
In what sense are they being exploited?
that's where I'm going to now. So you
Okay,
have
sorry.
no
problem. I'm listening.
Okay, so you have like a young man, a young responsible man, and you have a young responsible woman.
Samulu's brother, that example.
For example, like yeah.
I don't know if you here for Samulu's brother.
Samulu's brother is blood. He was married. He was marrying
Zimbabwean woman, and the bride price was $12,000
at the time,
which they negotiated to be $6,000.
And obviously, I want to play the advocate here and assume that for them to be able to be negotiating that, it's like a price tag on the woman. Also, it also shows that the man it's like exploiting the man's family.
So the issue here is, where can we then question culture and draw the line and say, okay, these people are not acting on the side of culture, they're actually
exploiting the culture.
It's beautiful to pay the bride price, but when do we draw the line to say, okay, this elder or this father and mother are just
exploiting it, and they make it difficult for the couple to start their life? So what do you have to say about
let me talk based on my own experience. I thank God in this this platform, I don't have any relative or any cousin who knows me. If it's on Facebook, maybe I may not say some certain things. I should be honest with you guys. You understand?
That's fine.
And you can use pseudonames.
No, I'm not really names. You understand? It's just like I'm talking from out of experience now. I remember when I wanted to get married, there were a lot of things they mentioned that this and that must be done. Truly speaking, I always tell guys this thing: before you begin to tell yourself that I want to get married, you have in a way made up your mind that I want to really get married. Some of those things they mentioned that you have to do that. I bet to me, if your partner is really in love with you, she can still go back to the family, discuss with them. Daddy, when I was going to school, where were those men who were demanding this and that? Why is it that today this is my happiness and they all came out from nowhere, wanted to dash out my happiness? You understand? By so doing, you get to realize that the two partners will come to a great consensus, or rather the both families will come to a great consensus that this thing, they don't like it and they wouldn't be a partner to that. And what happened next? You get to realize that all the prices, they said if from beginning they've mentioned like 1 million, 2 million or thereabout. I'm giving an example. Just like they ended up spending no less than 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? These things happened to us. Some of us before we got married. You understand? We went there and it was exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on your partner. Is she truly in love with you? Because, like Toby once mentioned, that a man would say it. When man would say, "I paid your bride price. I did this." No, Toby. Sorry to say, let me correct you on that ground. You know, sometimes, they say that there has never been a fire without how do they say it?
Not fire.
Smoke without a fire. You understand? It's something that triggered that. A man cannot just, if you're in love with your woman, sorry to say this, you can't just wake up and begin to mention, I paid your bride price, this and that, I did it, I did. No. If you love your woman, you understand? Like some of the people I know today, you understand? They bought cars for their wives today. These are close relatives. They, in what case would they come out and begin to mention such things? When there is love in a home, it's very, very difficult for a man to begin to bash on his wife that I did this, I did that, man. You don't have to respect me. No. So what we are saying here is that our tradition, please, we shouldn't sell it out to no one. I live in Sweden and I know the kind of life we've been living here. It's very hard. Sometimes they say protestsvenska. What does protestsvenska mean? Speak Swedish. You understand? They don't want to take away any language. We're in Europe today. You you don't expect someone from Denmark, Finland, and all this thing to accept Swedish, despite them living in the same Scandinavia. You understand? Some of these things you are seeing, this because the problem we Africans are having today is that we try to copyright people. We don't even have identities of our own. And that is a big problem in our society today. We have to really work with that. As an Igbo person, I learned to begin to appreciate Igbo ever since I began to realize the regime of Buhari and what is. But we're not talking about that.
Okay,
Sorry, I brought in this into the conversation. Then this made me begin to develop a big love for my Igbo culture. I was brought up in the northern part of Nigeria.
Definitely.
You understand? I mean, this our culture is something that we should not let go of us, because if our identity is lost, we can't get it back. Sometimes you listen to certain music, you begin to shed tears. Why? Because it gives you a reliefment of memories, a memory that you've long wanted to hear, and now it's coming back. If this Brideprice is going to be abolished, I bet to me our Igbo, or rather our traditional marriage and everything will begin to fade out.
So it's part of culture. Okay, Strixie, I have one last question. And it might not necessarily relate to Brideprice, but just seeing how strong you are about this culture and everything. But do you also think that even though these cultures were passed down from our ancestors were once human beings capable of making mistakes?
Sure.
The times have changed. Do you also think that as we hold on to our culture, there are other aspects of the culture? It doesn't have to be Brideprice, can be Brideprice or any other thing that has to evolve.
Yeah.
Do you think that, or you just think that because it's culture, then what has been has to be, because we have to hold on to our identity? Or do you think that we can hold on to our identity, but at the same time recognize that there are some parts of culture
that need to be abolished? Sure.
Okay.
Example, in my village, we have this we are fetish. Our late grandfather are fetish. Sometimes around Christmas period, they used to slaughter chicken, goat, or cow, pour it on a particular something, and share the meat. You understand?
Yes.
But early 20s or so, they began to do out with this culture, and people began to embrace God, begin to draw closer to God, and we've been till now we've been enjoying it. This is just an example of what you are saying. Once something is an error, it's affecting the society, then definitely it has to be thrown away.
Okay.
So we will allow you to be in the background just like everyone, because we'll have a panel debate where everybody will come in and then debate amongst themselves.
Debate respectfully.
Yeah, so don't leave, but we'll just leave you in the background.
Is there anybody else? Final calling for anybody else who wants to come and state their points before we put everybody on the screen? Because if we put everybody on the screen, that's the end, though.
Yeah.
That's the end.
This is like a bazaar of your own personal
reading shekere.
The shekere
is the final call.
This is the final call.
I'm putting the link of justice.
Yes. This is the final call. So if you don't click this thing at the sound of 3 shekeres, we are opening the panel debates.
Maybe 5 shekeres.
5 shekeres.
In case your Wi-Fi is
moving like this. We are opening the panel for the full debate session,
team,
which means that
you can come and bash those in a respectful
way. Yeah. So let me do the shekere 5 times symbolically, saying that we are going. Let me see in the comment section.
Be respectful. Don't stay on topic when you come in. Okay.
So the shekere is going now.
Going.
Anybody?
Going. Going.
Go on. Put the banner of respect.
Okay, banner of respect for all our for all our common sense squad panel coming in. We know that people are having opposing views.
But remember how we do it here. Nothing is personal until you take it personal. Yes, if we have to use the mute to calm your temper, we will use it. So please enjoy this debate. Know that you are ahead. People are going to come and watch you after. We are using every common sense thing in us to beg you respectfully.
I trust.
But we trust you people.
Okay. We move. We have Dominic, we have Samolu, we have Chitsili, and we have Toby.
Yeah.
So we'll go with Dominic first.
Why you didn't mute them?
No, they're not mute. I didn't mute. No. Yeah, I'm Dominic.
Oh.
Yeah, we can hear Dominic.
Hey. So I understand the points of Samolu and Toby to a degree. I understand where they're saying that some men will use that as a reason to abuse their wife. Okay, I understand also Toby's point saying, why don't we remove a point of contention and potential abuse in a relationship? And to me, it's about interpretation of what the bride price is. I mean, I'm using the word bride price because I can't use the term that we use back home because obviously nobody will understand. But the term that is used is not like bride price. It's something else. And
what is it called?
The history is called dot, la dot. So it's not like a transactional element that's happening. And like I said, the history behind it. I think that with everything that's been made, there's always going to be an abuse, which is why I'm very happy that my country has put in the constitution that you can't ask a price, like you can sue somebody, a family, because they've asked you that amount of bride price. So even before you paid it, because it doesn't make any sense, right? Mm-hmm. And also, bride price, it's symbolic, like I said, but I don't see the point of removing something because some people are abusing it. That is the thing that I don't understand. Because here's the thing. People have talked about differences between expensive and non-expensive, right? I really think that if a guy goes to a family and they give you a long list of bride price and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. And they're like, well, that's what it is. Why is it that the guy, I'm asking, I'm not trying to presume, why isn't the guy saying, well, I'm not going to marry that person then because I'm not going to be involved in that kind of family who thinks this is appropriate? Because that means there are other areas in the family that they're going to be having this kind of mindset when it comes to finances. So I don't see why the option is to abolish it, because some families are abusing it and giving you a long lesson of like what someone said, something like, I don't know, I think last live somebody said $12,000 or whatever. Why isn't the response to say, that's not for me, I'm going to go? Why is the response, well, it should be abolished then? Because clearly, if a family has a mindset of thinking it's reasonable to ask this amount, surely there'll be other things in their mindset which is against your own that is going to come to conflict. So
I guess because they're in love with that.
No, but I think that's a symptom of the disease. Of there's something. No, to me, it's a symptom of a disease. If somebody comes and they say the bride price is this amount, and they know that you are both starting off in life, you haven't bought a house, you don't have maybe a car or whatever, and they're still asking you that, then to me, I'll be like, well, that means this family, there's a lot of they don't think the way we
We
think.
hear the men breathing in.
Okay.
You people should.
Yes.
Oh, Toby wants to respond. Okay, Toby will respond.
I heard my name now. That's why I wanted to. So, anyways.
Nobody was breathing. Men are breathing heavily.
All right. Let me.
For anybody who doesn't know where Dominic is from, she's from Cameroon.
All right. Bonjour, monsieur.
Madame, mademoiselle.
I was like, monsieur, no.
Okay, forgive my French. My French said ne pas bon. Now,
in English, please.
All right. So first of all, I'm going to respond to what Dominic said, and I'll respond to the other gentleman who was talking about a culture. So Dominic, I am not knocking the bride price because of some people that are abusing it. And I agree to a limited extent. I'm sympathetic to the idea that that is a symptom, but the symptomatic effect itself is a major problem. We can have a concept on the side and say, okay, let's hold on to this concept. Let's hold on to this practice. Oh, we love it so much. But on the other hand, look at anecdotes, look at people's experiences. And at some point, you have to say it is time to make adjustments. Now, my primary issue with the bride price, it's because it attaches rather a monetary value on a human being. That's what I'm saying. We come from a time in the past where it used to be calories, the barter era, where it was foodstuffs or crops or whatever. Now it's a whole bunch of things. So that's my primary issue. I'm not saying because some men abuse it or weaponize it. That's the major issue I'm having with it. My major issue is we've come a long way. This practice came from like I responded to you in the comment section, came from a bygone era where women were commoditized, they were merchandised. That was the era it came from. It doesn't matter whether in Nigeria, whether it's other parts of the world. In fact, in Papua New Guinea, based on research, has the highest bride price requirement, $100,000. That is the highest requirement that they have over there. I mean, as poor as those guys are.
From heaven, they directly descend from heaven.
But again, what does that tell us, though? What underpins the practice is socioeconomics. It's economics. It's poverty, for the lack of a better word. I am not saying that every family who asks for bride price, has a challenge economically. No, but I'm talking about the history of it, of the practice. Now, we have come a long way. We have come a long way as a civilization, as a people. And I'm saying it is time to do away with a practice that attaches monetary value on a human being. Now, is there a middle ground? Of course, there's a middle ground. The middle ground, like I responded to you, is there are several other aspects of our culture, even within the framework of the traditional marriage rights, that we should keep. I love it. We should keep them. But this aspect of it should be discarded. Real quick, to the other gentleman who was talking about the practice of our fathers. And I said to him respectfully, there are so many things our fathers did that were crap. And today, without being told, we have gotten rid of them. There was a time we used to bury human beings with kings. I mean, to a large extent, because they felt like when the king gets to heaven or wherever he's going to need servants. He's going to need peasants.
Human beings are mostly women who are virgins for the most part.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, because he needs them. He's going to need virgins now, Ella. What are you talking about? He's going to need them on the other side. So number two, we have done a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to be listing things that you guys know about here, but we have evolved. And all I'm saying is this matter is one aspect that needs to evolve as well. Finally, to the issue of abuse. An abuser will always be an abuser. In fact, those who didn't think they could be an abuser, at some point, they became an abuser. I am not saying the bride price will make somebody an abuser. No, I am saying that it has become
Circumstances.
an issue where somebody or people generally, we're not talking one, two, three, four, we're talking several cases where people will play the bride price card. It's almost like there's something in the back of your head that tells you that I bought this person, I paid for it, I went through hell and high water to purchase this merchandise, and how dare you challenge me? How dare you question my authority? That's what I'm saying. It needs to be get rid of.
Where is Trixie Lee? Trixie Lee, we wanted you to come in.
Okay, so that we'll have some
We'll
talk.
talk.
I'll post the link in the comment section again for Trixie Lee only.
Yeah, Trixie Lee. Well, so Samuel, the floor is yours.
If Trixie Lee still wants to come in, yeah.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for having me again. Like Toby was saying, bride price. I'm not really saying that bride price, that everyone that pay the bride price is an abuser, and I'm not saying that at every. So I want to be very clear. I'm not also saying that because I paid bride price on a woman, I have to abuse it. It's not everyone that pay bride price abuse, but I have seen a common pattern that if you seen a live scenario on people that are abused, you will hear the people that I listened to the audio of a Nigerian that brought a lady to US to study nursing, and the lady started making money, and like it's common with Nigerians that have killed their spouse who brought them to US, send them to nursing school, and over time, and maybe those women started making money, and they will now say, oh, because now they are making money, they started being very proud. Maybe they were submitting their paycheck initially, and they are now exposed. Why should I continue? And I hear a voice of a guy who called 911, and he was saying, I killed my wife, this and that. And he was saying, I spent money to do that.
That voice was an acting.
It wasn't real.
Was it an acting? It was acting, but maybe it was
awareness.
To raise awareness. Okay.
The one who actually recorded the voicemail is a nurse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awareness. Yes, a Nigerian nurse. Yeah, and he was raising awareness, so he acted it with his wife to just showcase what they call the Africans in the diaspora.
Like it's the reality of things, but we're just saying that that didn't happen in this family.
Very good.
I know what you're talking about. Sorry for this.
Very good. But do you know what? That pattern of abuse and killing over time, percentage of those things that happen, do you know that from the records in US, 80 to 70% are people from southeastern Nigeria who pay a lot of bride price to marry their wives?
Where are you getting your statistics from?
I read it on a website. If I find it, I'm going to share it with you. I read it on that 80% of them were from southeastern part extract of Nigeria.
So do you think
and those men
that caused that thing, or this man
is misogynistic? Yeah, because there's difference between misogyny and
the issue of the bride price.
The issue of the bride price.
Yes, things can stem from I paid your bride price and all of that.
Which is just one of the
but
way
it might not necessarily
abusing them.
Yeah,
like cursing them verbally.
Yeah,
yes, of course, the bride price is part of it. Do you know how much they pay before they? If you live abroad, you want to go and marry in the East, that alone, they are ready to cut your head. They will just the price they will give you is crazy. Yes.
Why, as a man, if you're going to a specific family and they're giving you a humongous list, okay? Because at the moment we're talking about bride price, but to me we can replace it with something else. That you want to marry somebody and you realize there's something in the family you're not quite agreeing with. Why is the option not to walk away?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. It's okay. Let's do it up.
No. Samolu is for you. Go ahead. It's
okay. You have a choice. You can walk away. Let's say, like me. Do you know why? When I wanted to marry, people will say, maybe I'm tribalistic. I see this as part of the culture, and I made up my mind. I'm not going to marry from someone outside my culture. I'm not interested in going through that or ordeal of negotiating. That aspect, the fact that you are even negotiating is even a red flag. Why do you have to negotiate about marrying my wife? How much I'm going to bring out that? the fact that you're negotiating is showing that the person is like a commodity that you want to buy. It's just that I'm going to the market, I want to buy a cow, and I begin to negotiate with the mala. Oh, 150K, I have 120. Why do you have to even go through that? When I wanted to get married, they just tell me, oh, bring the normal thing you do, take to traditional wedding and all those. I brought it, and they also give us some gifts. That they didn't give me any list. There was no list that, oh, bring this, bring that. There was no, I can't remember of any list. Are you getting it? So the fact that you have to negotiate and be,
that I think the culture of the bride price then
negotiation.
It's not even really a general culture. It looks like it varies from families to families.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
would have
does.
married Yoruba women as well, and they would have a list.
Yeah,
that they would have to bring, and there would be
like I was telling you, those Yoruba culture family, they evolved, they have been diluted. The proper Yoruba culture, there was nothing like that bringing a list of all these things. It was never in Yoruba culture. If you go and read in Yoruba folklore and all those, so that was in Yoruba culture. Is the family, is the bride family that hosts a wedding. They are the one responsible for wedding. They pay for everything. They also give a dowry on the wife. The dowry is what is called what you give to the wife that she is taking to the husband's house.
Okay,
that was the traditional Yoruba culture.
Guys, let me respond real quick. So, Dominic, to your question. So there are two things, and I've been trying to, I try to find a balance, even in expressing my position. There's one important thing, the family aspect of it, and one of the reasons I believe we do that is it undergirds the whole setup. So as a young couple, assumably you go out there into the world, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have difficulties. So when the day of trouble comes, because you have a solid family behind you, you have somewhere to run to, you have people to run to. And so as a female, if you see that or know that your guy comes from a well-respected, stable family, you're assured. In fact, it assures your parents as well that when the day of trouble comes, we know who to call, we know where to go, as opposed to somebody we don't even know where he's from, we don't know his people, and things like that. Now, what I'm saying is that the assumption of verifying if a guy is financially able to take care of you, that can be taken care of without the tag of a bride price. There are modern ways you can find out if a guy is financially able to take care of you. And there are other ways you can undergird and protect your relationship with family support system without the necessary monetary attachment, defining the value rather of the woman through the bride price. That's all I'm saying. So the point of saying that, when I say abolish it, and I mean it without mincing words, because there are other ways. We can verify financial stability or accountability or whatever word you want to use. And there are other ways you can undergird and protect with a support system families on both sides. Now, the second point I was going to make is that if the guy wants to do something for the family, there are so many other ways he can do it. There are so many other ways. I mean, that is electronic transfer these days. There are so many.
What do you mean by so many other ways? Because there's bride price and there's the list.
And there's also cultures that the list is important. Bride price.
Exactly.
Yeah. So okay, great. So now some of these things on the list that I have witnessed in the Yoruba culture, that is, they might say, bitter cola, and some other things. They put some crops or whatever. Hey, they say it has a spiritual connotation. I am not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. I want to be absolutely clear. I'm not knocking that. What I am knocking again is when you make the demand unreasonably unbearable for the man. That's what I'm knocking. And you are putting money, you are attaching amounts, and you are making it so difficult for the man and his family So to actually reach, that's what I'm knocking. And to your point, Dominic, real quick, you asked the question. Okay, if it's that unreasonable, why can't the guy just walk away? You and I know it's not that simple. You have built a relationship with this woman as a guy. You've invested time, you've invested effort, possibly years sometime. And then you come to this final hurdle. It's not supposed to be a hurdle, really. But all of a sudden, it is a hurdle. And you're telling me to just walk away and give it up. The girl has not offended me. She has not done anything wrong. All because the family is acting unreasonably. I should just abandon the whole thing. You know, it's not that simple.
I'm not
So,
saying
okay, go ahead.
I am not saying it's that simple. I think you are
Okay.
putting a lot of things together, and I'm trying to split them apart to understand what we're talking about. Because on one end, you've said you are completely against abolishing everything. Then you've just said now that
No, no, no.
sometimes
I'm for. Oh, sorry, I didn't understand what you said. Repeat what you said. I'm sorry. Repeat
so
what you just said.
so on one end you're saying to abolish it, meaning the bride price, which in my tribe
Yes.
is the list. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
on this, and you've just said that that if you come to that last hurdle, the family is making it harder for you because it's unreasonable what they're asking. So I'm trying to find out, is it that you are against the bride price altogether, or is it that you're against unreasonable bride price?
Okay. I see the distinction you're making.
Yeah.
Without splitting hairs, I am against the bride price as defined as attaching monetary value.
I think in relations to his culture.
Yeah, well, the general sense of it. We've even if you research, like I was saying earlier, there's a general trend that cuts across that at the end of the day, there is going to be a demand made, a monetary demand that is made, and I'm saying that the culture of attaching monetary value on a human being is what I'm against. It's what I'm against. Real quick, guys. Recently, I'm sure you've heard of Thomas Sankara, the former leader of Burkina Faso, and
Yes, yes.
yes, and there's been a recent in the news that they're reopening the case of his murder and all of that. Now I've been following that case, by the way. Now, and then it forced me to kind of read up on some of the things he accomplished back then before he was assassinated. Did you know, guys? This guy was way ahead of his time back then in the 80s. You
I
know,
knew.
one of the things reforms he brought on, progressive reforms, was to abolish the bride price back
Okay,
then.
so sorry to cut you there, Toby.
Yeah.
So Dominic, I think Cameroon has even taken a good stance.
Yeah.
Because Dominic, Dominic said when she came in earlier, she talked about how in the Cameroon, there's now in the constitution, right, Dominic?
Yeah, people can't exploit the bride
People
price. So if
can't
somebody
exploit.
is demanding something unreasonable, you can go and fight that
person in
court.
court. So
Which
that's
is
one
something
way.
Nigeria lacks.
Yeah, that's one way in the Cameroon
Of
culture. I think
controlling the culture.
they've evolved to be able to,
Keep
amend
Control.
and yes,
Manage.
Not control
Mhm.
is to be able to safeguard against abuse.
Preserve it.
This is what I'm saying is that not every family will make an unreasonable demand when it comes to a list.
Yes.
So and in the list, because Sariat said if the list includes money, so does that mean if the list includes just item like I don't know, a cow or whatever it is? But because to me, I think it's about interpretation of what it is, right? Because in my culture, the list isn't a representation of this is how much our daughter costs. Okay, this is okay, you are going to come together as a family, as a sign of token to be like coming into the family. Here is whatever is this. Then when the family of the husband groom comes in during the ceremony, the family of the bride is going to cook, to feed them, and everything there is provided by the family of the bride, because the aim of it all was always for it to be an integration for both families. It was never to be okay, you've paid me this and I now have my wife. No, because when you come in the family of the bride, it's providing food and all these things. They're arranging the whole situation. So I understand how somebody can be in an argument with someone and say, I paid your bride price. But to me, I'm looking behind the comment, Because if when you were going and getting the list, you were thinking, I am paying you, okay, then that mindset in my head is incorrect. Because the same man, Sam Olu has mentioned it earlier, that some people bring people from that diaspora and we, you know, and then when the person is more successful, they get upset. So is the issue actually that they've got the person from diaspora, or that they've got Brideprice? Or is it that they actually were expecting in the marriage for them to always be ahead of the wife, and now that it's not happening, they're looking for ways to hurt you, and therefore they're bringing out the thing that's going to hurt you, which is Brideprice? I think that if you have the mindset of I've done this, therefore blah blah blah, you will struggle in relationship, because you will always, when somebody's not doing what you want, you will bring out what you have done for them. So I don't see how that it's Brideprice that is the issue for my culture, because from what you're saying, I think different culture are different. But I don't see how with that's happening. Somebody's going to say, "Well, I did this," and the point I was saying about walking away is, I am aware that in some family the list is humongous. Okay, in order to fulfill the list, you have to, you know, sell your car, maybe go on the black market and sell your left kidney or whatever in order to afford the money. And I'm saying, in that case, let's be practical. Yes, love is hard. Yes, love is difficult. But at the end, like you said, let's be practical. Even if I love you like crazy, and there's this massive hurdle in front of us, that is not just going to be a one event, because the money we are spending here is the money we're not going to be able to use to put a deposit for a house. It's the money we're not going to be used to be able to put saving for our children's education. It's the money we're not going to use to be putting investment. I can't just say, okay, I'm going to do it out of love for you, because love is not enough, in my opinion, for a relationship. You need to be able to have the same mindset to be able to go forward. So that was my thing. I never meant to say that it was easy. I was meant to say that sometimes when you see something that is very, very against what your future is going to be about, then sometimes it's time to take a step back and say,
can I respond real quick? Real quick. So I'm waiting for the day when the requirement on that list you talk about. It's funny, Dominic, I keep hearing abuse, and my definition from the start was never about the abuse. I'm saying scrap it altogether. Okay, scrap it altogether. I'm waiting for the day when the requirement on that list will just be 2 oranges, 1 bitter cola, something I can just buy off the market on my way to the family. I'm just waiting.
But the family of the bride is going to be hosting you. So what are you bringing?
So the problem I'm seeing now, there are 2 problems for me, which is the tag attached on the human being, and also the exaggeration or the exploitation of the list. Now, those are 2 different things. So you
because in Dominic's culture, the list is the what? Is it the bride price?
And obviously there's difference in culture and whatever. So I am of the opinion that it's either you are for it, in the sense that you go all out, you are paying the money symbolizes something. The father takes 1 naira and gives the rest to say, I'm not selling my daughter. Which is like the symbol that Trixie was talking about preserving. But recognizing that there are people who abuse these things. And when people abuse these things, countries like Cameroon have taken put laws in place to protect that culture, whereby they are still paying the bride price for the bride, but everybody knows that you can't go above this.
You can't exploit.
So for me, it's either you are for it to say, yes, we are going to pay the bride price. I know this is part of culture. Obviously, I'm a reasonable human being. I cannot buy a human being. No matter how much money you put, it will never equate the life of a human being. That's for reasonable people, of course. Or you say, I'm totally against it. I don't care if I'm bringing 2 oranges, 2 spiders, 2 snakes. Just abolish it. I can do the traditional wedding, which is maybe my wife will bring wine to me, or the parents of the bride and groom, they bless the marriage, and families and friends come and celebrate.
Ella,
it's something that you can choose to say, if it's not expensive, then I'm for it. But if it's expensive, then I'm against it. But I'm also against it because there's a tag.
No, so Ella, so you I love the way you broke it down, right? The oranges and the cola that was, so I was just being facetious, right? Yeah. So, and I'm saying just get rid of it now. Symbolisms, okay. A quick example: in the United States, there was a time black people couldn't get married legally. Their marriages were not recognized by law. So what they would do back then is, if when black people in their communities, when they wanted to get married, they would jump the broom. They call it jumping the broom. They'll put the broom down.
That's their different culture. We cannot do that one. Is their own.
Yeah. No, so I'm trying to bring something from there actually. So now we've come a long way. We are all marriages are recognized now. Okay, doesn't matter, gay, straight, whatever. It's all legal. But there are African Americans who still maintain the jumping of the broom culture. They still do it. They're not doing it to say, hey, the law doesn't see us as a couple, let's still do. No, they just maintain it. So now that is fine by me. I don't have a problem with symbolisms. I don't have a problem with culture. I don't have a problem with traditional rights. What I have a problem with is putting a price tag on a list or whatever on a human being. I have a problem with that, and I leave it there.
Okay.
I see.
So
Samolu has been quiet for a bit. I'm missing his
Samolu, this one that you muted yourself, is it fair?
Sorry. I am still here, so I was doing something, so I'm listening in the background.
So we're going to be ending soon. We were going to be ending soon. Kwesi, you came in before. I don't know why you left. So
maybe it's connection.
Yeah, you should probably come in again because I know you're from Ghana. So if you have anything to say in the Ghana culture. But Samolu, please carry on.
Okay, I am with Toby on this. Like I said, I am not against culture. I am not against all other very interesting traditional rights. I am still for culture, maintain your culture, protect the cultural interest. But I am also against the fact that you have to put a price tag on a woman. I'm against the fact that you have to be negotiating on what you have to bring because you are getting married to somebody you love so much. And I am not in support that women, a man and woman, will just go ahead because they are adults. They can. It's to protect you when family want to do background check on you. It's just like when you are opening an account in a bank, they do KYC. So it's good that family has to know each other and they do background check on the family and be able to advise you. Anybody that wants to get married is over 18 and you already know what he or she is going into, what he or she is signing for. But it's also good that your family, because your family is your support system. Because if everything crumbles at the end of the day, you're still coming back to them. If they're a very good family, they're going to take you. And that's good. So doing those background check and giving the proper advice that this family is going into, this is what we have found out about them, this and that. Then it's now left for you to make that decision. But I am against the fact that you have to put a price tag on a woman, and if you can't put a price tag on a man, because when a man and woman are getting married, they are marrying each other. Even in Christendom, he said when a man should leave his or father's house, and while a woman, and at the same time you join together. It means that you are both marrying each other. It's not the woman that is marrying the woman alone. You both marry each other.
No, so you mean it's not the man that is marrying the woman alone? Yeah.
So why should the price tag be on the woman alone and not on the man?
So exactly.
Right now, right?
I think we have to make our points now.
My part of my closing speech.
My own point is this. I know about the whole family support thing, but I also am aware that predominantly in I think it's in the eastern part of Nigeria, and anybody from the east. I love. I've been to traditional weddings for the Igbos. It is very beautiful, very very beautiful. Also, but I know that when some of their women, when they've been traditionally married, their bride price paid and all that. If they are going through abuse in their husband's house and they run home, some of them, their family members will tell them that you better be going back to your husband's house. You don't have a place here. They will say you don't have a place here. And that has to do with the bride price that has been paid. Because they know that if the marriage is dissolved, the family of the girl, the groom the family of the girl has to pay everything back.
Whoa. For real?
Yes.
Especially if the groom requests for it.
Especially if the groom requests for it, or if you
Unbelievable.
cannot do it again, your family has to return back everything. So
Damn.
sometimes when the woman is facing some kind of troubles in her marriage, in the sense that it's beyond being able to resolve it between her and her husband, especially in the case of domestic abuse, she's like forced to stay inside her marriage just because, even if she can afford to return the bride price, the family of the man, they will not take it because they will say it's supposed to come from your family. Just to tie that woman down to that misery. For some families in the East, it's also happened in the southern part of Nigeria, among Urobo. There are some women that they've also married them traditionally and everything. They want to leave because of the way the man is torturing them and all those stuff. The family of the woman, this one happened, I know this one personally. This one, the woman wants to leave. The family of the lady are in support of their daughter leaving. The man will be running away from collecting the bride price back. It's true. It's true.
I do.
It's true. So it's like the woman's emotion is being tossed back and forth. Even when she has the family support that my daughter, you must come back home. If you are experiencing this kind of wahala, we will return it back. Sometimes they will have to even post the money. This man will not, the man and the family, they will be running away from collecting bride price because they want to tie this woman down.
I can't laugh.
From what I'm even getting from the gist of today, it just looks like culture varies from family to family.
Because it's just like, yes,
because even as there's, there's the Igbo culture, there's the Yoruba culture, there's Yoruba culture, there's also the Dominic Cameroonian culture. I forgot. Is Dominic frozen?
It's okay. I forgive you. It's okay. Continue.
I'm sorry, but is
Dominic is being nice to us today.
I'm always nice to be. I'm always.
To the elders that refuse to call today.
Yeah.
Is it really culture if you are adding your own salt and maggi inside
to exploit life?
Now today, people exploit ashwebi. They call it culture. But we all know in Nigeria that ashwebi, which is like the dress, for example, if you want the same thing as me, it's ashwebi. But that's a Yoruba culture. But you have Urobo people, Igbo people, everybody copying the culture of ashwebi. Where as Africans do we draw the line to say this is our own culture? In fact, the elders said, where did they document this culture so that we will know as modern day people how to challenge these things?
Because for me,
I also have the problem of that tag of maybe it's because that's the name of it.
For me, the little I know about the Yoruba culture is that if they paid the bride price, which is like small money or whatever, they give the man's family some of the money back, and they say yes, their daughter is not for sale, and if anytime the daughter wants to come home, she is free to come home. That's number one. And number two, if the woman passes on, if she dies, she decides where she wants to be buried.
Not the brother or the husband.
Not the husband, no. So there's this thing that comes, like you said, what's the significance? There's certain, like I'm just saying, for example, this is the little I know about like from the Yoruba culture.
And how
so you don't own her in the sense that, oh, if she has passed on or anything, then you say she must be buried in this afterlife. She has to be with you. All those, some people can own you in life and afterlife. They will say, if
wow,
if for example, God forbid, the man has passed on, the man can write that almost if this woman is leaving to go and marry another man, everything that is for her that we have
naturally be for her cannot be for her anymore.
Yes.
So it's like, well, these are like deeper stories
but it's true.
They are all stems from the act of paying the bride price.
Where the woman doesn't really have
a say and all those things.
All those things.
It was a very good discussion. I know my people. Please, who is this one, please?
Can I just say something? I think that, to me, the reason why I'm staying on this point is because the family, there are some families which are very unreasonable.
Yes.
And those are the family that makes bride price very tricky, very, very difficult. And to me, going back to it, if you come to a family and this is how they are, the reason why they are like this with bride price, because bride price is a tool they use. If you remove bride price, they will use another tool. Because when you're talking about the family that, the wife is running back home because she's been abused, and they say, oh, they've taken your bride price. Even if they hadn't taken the bride price, there will be something else they will use. Oh, you bring shame on the family, or you do this. So this is why, to me, these are symptoms of a condition. Because your child coming home and saying, I've been abused, and your reflex is to say, well, I've already taken the bride price. It's not normal. We can't blame culture for, we can't absolve people's action from culture. Culture may mitigate what you're doing, but it doesn't force you to do the thing. You may be influenced, but at the end of the day, you still have a degree of free will. And this is what I am talking about, is that at what point do we, because ending bride price, okay, canceling it, to me, it's like, fine, let's cancel it. The fact is, it will not change the mind. People will just remove the mindset and transpose it somewhere else. That's why, to me, it's about looking at the core of the issue. And that is why I said to Toby that, to me, here's the thing, which is simple, okay? I know this is not the topic, okay? I'm going to take another example. So you said, oh, it's not easy to let go, right? When you've already, invested that much. But here's the thing. As a woman, if I meet a man I love, I just look at him and I said, you remind me of, David, Samson, all of these people, yes?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If when I do, and I'm going to meet his family, his mother does not like me, as in serious hatred, and he doesn't have healthy boundaries around his family, I cannot go ahead. Because I am realistic enough to know this. If he doesn't have healthy boundaries around his family, I will not have peace. It doesn't matter how much peace I cultivate in my home, it will never be enough. Okay? So, yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, it's going to be like, what's going on? But at the end of the day, I am not just safeguarding myself, I'm also safeguarding my future children. Because I'm not just picking my husband, I'm also picking the future father of my children. What kind of home are we going to raise when your family is against the union to begin with? So instead of using most of the energy to grow our family, we'll be using most of the energy to fight left, right, and center against to me, it's just not practical.
All right. So, sorry, quick response to that. Realistically speaking,
yes,
the thing that you're referring to sometimes happen after the fact.
Yes,
in other words,
after the fact, it's different. But I'm talking, yes, if sometimes you don't know until you're there, that's different. I'm talking about before, which is the same thing with Brideprice. It happens before you get married.
Yeah, so I think the men should go and be doing research. When you are serious about the woman you want to marry, even before you propose, go and be doing research, be asking around.
No, so okay, sorry, real quick, the most important thing or piece of the whole process is the relationship you have with your partner. That's the most important thing. Now, there are several couples out there, Dominic, as we speak, who do not get along with their in-laws, but they are living fine with their spouses, because at the end of the day, you go home to your wife, to your husband, whatever the case is. So I'm saying that you cannot say because somebody doesn't like you in the family, you're just going to cut off. You're going to destroy everything.
Misunderstanding me. That's not
Okay,
what
please.
I said.
Okay,
I
please
said,
help me understand.
If I meet a guy and everything is fine, and I'm going to his family, and his family does not like me, as in they are very against the union, and he doesn't have healthy boundaries, that second part is very important. Yes, of course, there's no way his family will like me as much as he does, because they don't know me as much. But if they make it very clear that they don't like me, and to him, he doesn't have boundaries against family. In other words, saying to his family, this is, my wife and everything.
Acceptable, what's acceptable, what's not.
This is what I'm saying. I didn't say that if I'm going in and, his mother does like, I just say, I'm quitting. No, I'm saying I'm realistic enough to know that if he doesn't have that boundary in, and the family does not like me, and they can come in our home without restriction, is not going to last. This is what I'm
going to latch on. I'm going to latch on to the second part, which is it's the guy's responsibility to actually take charge of the situation and protect you as his partner. Yes. But let's not veer too far off from the topic of the day. The topic of the day is bride price. And I'm saying, change the moniker, change the title, change the name, whatever. It is
So if
flawed.
they start asking for gold now and diamond,
What are you gonna call it then?
But,
What are
okay,
you gonna call
I want
it?
to piggyback on what you said.
Ella,
Toby.
what are you gonna call it then? You know.
Yeah,
So my point remains, guys, that remove the tag. It's
yeah,
that simple. Remove the tag. It sets us back. It takes us all the way. We've made tremendous progress, on women's issues, on women's rights. Remove the tag. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
okay,
I'm
so
against it. Abolish it.
okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
so we're
And
rounding up now because we gotta go. We spent
and
over
on
2
the
hours,
point
30 minutes.
on the final note, for my side, you know what? From my experience of talking about against bride price, what I have experienced in the past, because I used to make a lot of comments when I see on social media, when I see them talking about bride price, and the people that have always been attacking me are women. They're always against it. Say, what do you mean? It's going to continue. You can't stop it. He's a stingy man. This and that. They give me all kind of names. I said, well, I am just talking based on the fact that I'm a father. I have a daughter, and this is always been, one day my daughter is going to get married, and I am very sure I'm not going to demand any bride price from anyone. I am not against the exchange of gifts. If you bring gift and the family, I'm not against that part of the culture. It's very beautiful. Normally, if you go and visit someone and you take a gift, there's nothing bad in it. But the fact that you have to put a price tag, a name, on the fact that, we are, you put a price on human being, is something I am against, and I will never, till I say goodbye to this world, I will never support it. I am against it with all the fibers in my body, and I will always be against it. That is my point, and that is my stand. If you want to change it, just make sure that it is not transactional. You are not
Sorry,
Thank you.
Samuel, your
exchanging.
wife has
You know.
disagreed.
So
She says
you
she's
cannot
collecting
take that
money
decision
from
by
us.
yourself.
Yes. She's collecting bride price, so obviously we
She's
agree.
misbehaving. Auntie
She's just joking. She's
Yeah,
just
I know.
joking.
We
I
know.
know she's joking.
we
She's
know.
just trying to be. She's joking, but she knows that that is based on our values. Myself, I know my wife. Based on our values, we are. She knows that there's nothing called like a bride price. My wife finds somebody she loves. We just do our normal traditional stuff, and yes, they are husband and wife, and let them go and enjoy their lives. No, I'm not interested in bride price. And you know what? The people that try to take advantage of this bride price are the poor people, and the poor taking advantage of another poor
Simple.
people. Those are the people that
Economics.
always,
Yeah.
you don't see the rich doing all these things.
But this is what
The
I'm
rich,
saying,
they do
Samoli.
it too. The rich, they
Yes,
do
but
it too. And
Samoli,
it's just,
if
I
you
think
go in
it's
a
But
not
family,
now poor people the most agree.
but
Family
Samoli,
is
this is what
right.
I'm saying.
It's the
when someone
economic
wants to live
condition
his
of
life, that's what
people
he needs to
that
see.
is causing these things.
Yes,
You
but the
know.
thing is, if that family is doing that, you say that poor family, even if you abolish bride price, that family will still find another way to make it difficult because poverty hasn't ended because you stop bride
True.
price. And to
True.
say something, I do believe the bride has a responsibility when it comes to this bride price. I am not saying I'm educating her of any responsibility because at the end of the day, whatever money the family of the groom or the groom is going to spend, on the list, okay, that is something that is not going to be in your life as a married couple, okay.
Yeah.
So for you to have a bride a list, okay, that costs £10,000, and you as the wife, you are like, yeah, if you love me, you should pay. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense because at the end of the day, you are going to be living with that man, as a married couple and building life. So I think also that the woman should have healthy boundaries with her own family, which is why you need to be self-aware and know the kind of family that you are in. And you need to be able to put it and have a discussion with your family and say, listen, yes, I will like the list because I think it's beautiful and everything. However, if it is unreasonable, we need to make a decision because it's either we are going on with it or I'm going and getting married in like registry or whatever, and we're doing this thing, knowing that it will cause problem because this is what I'm talking about, making choices. life will not be served on a platter. Sometimes there will be choices you have to make. Either you go with your family that's unreasonable and asking this amount, or you try to make them understand that this is not possible. The two cannot converse, but those boundaries need to be set. But if the bride already is unable to set that kind of boundary with her family, and you're trying as a man to marry into that, that means that you are marrying somebody who potentially is very how am I going to say it, influenceable by her family. So next thing you know, there'll be something else that the family will come and ask, which is unreasonable, but your wife will think it's reasonable because it's a family. So this is what I'm saying. That when you're getting married, it's two people coming together, knowing that we may have the support of our family when it comes to issues and everything, but at the end of the day, you are creating your own culture. You are creating your own thing. So and that will come at a price.
So it be like we go sleep today. Now here we go sleep today. Dominic,
real quick.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ella. Thank you so much. Listen, realistically speaking, it is not easy to pull off what you have just described. Because in the African tradition, no, hang on, please. In the African tradition, when you are getting married, it's not the ceremony rites. It's not about you, honey. It's about the two families. It's really a celebration of culture.
Exactly.
So that's what it is. So we can sit here.
That's what I'm saying.
No, that's not what you're saying. What you're saying is that.
I think you're never going to agree on this thing, which is perfectly fine.
Toby, give your final word.
Okay, all right. So I'm just trying to add some pragmatism into this, and I'm saying that it's not easy for the girl to dictate terms during the ceremony. We all know that the parents hijack the process on both sides and they dictate the terms. That's what I'm saying. So in that situation, there is hardly anything the man or the woman can do. Now, that aside,
they can elope.
Good luck if you want to elope, because on the day of trouble you might need your family to come help you. You know, so you don't. I'm not sure you want to elope.
The egg. Because the family will give you.
That's it. We have to
give you.
I honestly, my point remains, guys. Abolish it.
Somebody's asking, is there a groom's price? Is there a groom's price?
We should start that one. We should start it. We should start groom's price.
Group price is bride price and bring group price. You have to pick it.
We can start group price. After they spend so much money on me, and you want just to marry me like that? It's not.
I know, right? After my parents have raised me, they've raised me right to this good man that you found suitable, and now I'm supposed to be the one paying you.
Then maybe there will be quality on the scale of
groom's lives matter. Groom's lives matter.
Exactly. Groom's lives matter. Groom's lives matter.
Dominic's point.
Yeah.
All
Dominic, right. We hear you. And Samolu, do you have any final thoughts?
We already have Samolu for final thoughts.
Sorry, no more.
I have already said my final thoughts. I said you want us to sleep here tonight.
It's true. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I learned so many new things today.
Yeah.
I agree with Dominic to a great degree of Brideprice is culture. It must be preserved. When it's being unreasonable, it should be, people should be reasonable about that. You ask yourself, you want to get married to this kind of person whose family has these demands and they don't want to
be reasonable
and say, negotiate. I love this man, daddy and mommy, they're going to ask for 2 million. That's not reasonable. I'm going to be with him, or I'm not going to be with him. Or the man should run away, saying that although you are married the woman, but in the African culture, you are also marrying
the family. Yeah, it's family.
True, very true.
I also agree with Toby's point that thing of bride price, Toby and Samuel's point of that thing of bride price, that name tag, for me, the name tag is an issue. Even if the bride price technically is, they will bring money. Now I'm removing those things of yam and gifts and all of that. I'm talking about the money now. Even if they are bringing the money, and let's say it's 5,000 naira, but the father collects 100 naira and returns the rest, which is to some people like Dominic and some other people in cultures that see it as symbolic. But because there's that thing of bride price, maybe the problem is the name. Another last thing from me is that I've seen that although culture is passed down from generation to generation, it has been diluted over time. So when do we draw the line, and how can we document this culture so that for future generations, they know that if I'm a Robo girl, this is the culture for the Robo people, or this is the culture for the Robo people that come from my own family.
My family, yeah.
That's
The culture is customized.
Yeah.
For me, I would say just knowing about what the olden days Yoruba used to do, dowry. It would be nice so if cultures in Nigeria also be giving their daughters dowry, because I know that in the Yoruba culture, after the traditional rights and all those and right present, the girl is escorted to the man's family. So they have, I don't know if they will call it dowry, but she has like so many things that they give to her and she carries. Her parents don't follow her though, but like relatives follow her and they dance and she still makes the shakara, but the man's family will host her and the people that have escorted her that night with gifts and foods, and after traditional wedding, and then they would leave her, but she goes with a lot of property. So I'm wondering if that's what they call like dowry.
Yeah, we have the same thing as well.
Well, the Indians pay men actually. The Indians, the man collects dowry.
Yes,
in Indian culture.
Yes,
there you go,
India.
Toby. You have your answer.
So it would be nice.
We've come to the end of the show, Dominic. Let's just leave it there.
I think that the culture is very beautiful. I think the culture is beautiful. I understand that, yes, it has to evolve. For me, the shakara in me, the culture is nice. But yes, those people that exploit, families that exploit other families, like the groom's family, with this whole bride price things, I think they are the major problem.
Maybe the Nigerian government should learn from the Cameroon government.
Exactly, learn from the Cameroon government to control this thing, just so that maybe at the national level, like, peace can reign. Because if for example, a man uses that word of saying, "Oh, I paid your bride price," they will still use it to say, "I bought you Gucci, I bought you a car, I bought you a house, I bought you this thing." Wahala is man.
And even in Uganda, I read it online. In Uganda,
yes.
you don't return the bride price.
The men on this panel,
this men do not come early. So Nigerian,
we need our groom price now.
Go to India, Toby.
Nigerian government should learn from the Cameroon government, just maybe so that maybe there's a constitutional law or whatever that this thing is not exploited. But again, we have so many cultures in Nigeria. Would that ever happen? Very unrealistic. So each family to each his own. Don't use your daughter as a price tag by draining money from the groom and the family.
That's the lesson.
Good point.
Yes, because that they are placing a value, saying that your child is a commodity and can be misused at any time, undermining the beautiful culture which revolves around the significance of that bride price being paid. You as a man, if you know that African man, Nigerian men, I'm talking to you. If you know that you are considering this woman seriously, as
Toby is the first man that is saying you invest a lot of things. I've never heard a man say
they invest now. Just Nigerian.
Oh yeah.
Mostly women that used to say I've invested a lot.
But it's nice that Toby had to say that because they invested their time, their emotions.
Thank you. I invested my life.
Nigerian men.
Toby has been fasting and praying
to you. And I'm
what are you talking about? Leave me alone. I invested my life.
If you are considering marrying a lady, a Nigerian lady, you are considering it seriously. Before you go and spend money to be buying diamond and gold, you better
for your bride price.
Apart from that, you better be investigating the family of the girl underground. Be finding out about them, even subtly finding, and you can find out about this thing in Nigeria now. Even idea of like traditional marriage or whatever, waiting that they ask for, just like that. Your woman doesn't even have to know. But this one for your own self-respect and all those type of things. Before you gotta be kneeling down, be saying, "Will you be my wife?" Not after you've done everything. Then on the day when you go and knock now, when you go and knock,
pay 500,000
another thing. Then you will not say that you want to not leave the girl. Is it fair?
It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
In Cameroon, anyways. When you meet somebody, when you meet somebody, the first thing you do is like, such and such. When you speak to your family, they will say, "Okay, what's their name? Where do they come from?" And then your family goes and
realistically, Dominic, we know that doesn't happen in this day and age. It does because people have traveled to different part of the world.
Mm.
So I'm saying if you are in the abroad, yes, because I'm saying now that, because me, I'm not going to do that kind of thing. I'm saying that now that if you are in a relationship and you're considering it already serious, you are living in the diaspora, wherever you are living, be finding people on ground there that will be, indirectly be finding out about this family.
My own is even before anything.
Before anything, like
before you really deeply fall in love. So that you have to get out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying the people who are in the diaspora here, if they meet somebody else, like if I meet another, are they frozen? If I meet another Cameroonian here, for example, right? And I tell my family back home, I met such and such, they'll be able to see their family on the ground, because the family that tends to be most problematic is the family that's on the ground. It's not the one that has travel. So they will now go and do the investigating. Now it's up to you, because I've known people where, women where, they've told her that the family of the husband is some kind of Wahala 2.0. The woman said, I like the guy. We said, no vex, so the person went and married, then realized all the investigation was true. Was not saying, why didn't you guys stop me? We say, so we should have chained you and put you on the corner and say, no, women are, you can make a decision. This is what I'm saying.
That's advice for the women. Me, I'm advising the men. The women are supposed to know that one with their head.
I tried to advise the men. They didn't listen to me now. So I'm just quiet.
Okay, Dominic, you win. Dominic, you win. You win.
The reason I'm saying this is buttressing on Dominic's suggestion here about knowing when to leave. If you are considering somebody that you love, you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, if they do you totoyoru, be doing your own personal investigation on ground
before you use the white man.
I'm telling you, to propose. Not the one that you will carry this lovely lady. You know that woman love you, love you too much. You have already proposed everything. Like, then when you're supposed to take the risk for life to pay that bride price and pay for the list, you will now want to pull yourself back. I don't need to be well with you, but please, it will be very painful. This is just common sense. Because the woman has forsaken her order. She has forsaken her order. Collected the engagement ring. And the man has taken order to give engagement ring to now.
That's how people start using juju. That's how they use juju.
We leave this juju topic.
Dominic, don't bring that juju.
Do not bring juju up, please. Leave juju alone. Sorry, common sense sisters. Fire on! I think glad you guys. Fire on!
I'm saying that the men. I'm looking out for the Nigerian men now. You know they look at those of you that have a coconut head.
Ella, waiting now. Look out for us, I beg.
Listen to Dominic today.
Listen to Dominic today. Before you go deep, go and be doing investigation, because our culture is very
and if they're demanding something extra.
Nothing is really hidden like that. When you want to really look at our African culture and ask people are very talk about it. Just do your own personal investigation for your heart's sake and also for your partner's sake. The woman,
families of the brides, don't sell your daughters.
That's number 2. So I'm talking about the men's suggestion to the family of the brides. Please don't put an unrealistic price tag, because your daughter is also going to start her own family with this man. Like Samolu said, some people will go and be borrowing money and all those things. And you know that something that Toby said is that realistically, the girl cannot really just take the decision alone, because it's family to family. It affects the groom, it affects the bride on either sides of the family. So please be realistic as parents of the bride to look at this thing categorically. Don't sell your treasure.
Listen to the panel.
Listen to the panel. Don't sell your treasure. Please, we are begging you.
I'm not begging you. It's your children. It's your children.
They're not going to listen. No.
We are begging you.
Trust me, they will. They will watch this video. They will watch this session and they will learn. Yeah. And Yo-Yo, please speak to the. Sorry, hold on a second. I want you to speak to the underlying mindset that feeds into what you just said, which is, I spent money on this girl. I raised her. I trained her. All of that. How can I just give her away like that for free? That is really, I believe, what is driving that. So speak to that, please.
So, are you saying that from the part where the parents of the girl will say, I raised that, sent her to medical school and all those plenty things? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what drives the unreasonable demands that they make on the guy. So that,
it's very simple. The child did not ask to be born. That's your responsibility. Nobody. The money that my parents have spent on my head, I can tell you And no man
can
pay for it.
No man.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No man. Because it's beyond money.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So for that one, for fathers that are having those ideas,
Talk to them directly. Talk to them directly, please.
So for fathers that are having those ideas that have said, you'll be counting everything that you've done for your daughter, sir, you cannot really count it. It's uncountable.
Are you really a sir?
And you know, the elders that make such demands, especially when the girl is well read, if she's a lawyer or a doctor in Nigeria.
Common sense, sisters. It's also not practical, because if you are 30 years old and then your parents have looked after you for, let's say, 20, even 25, 26, if you have 2 degrees or something, it's not possible for a man who, you know, has spent less amount of time with you to gather the same resources that it took your parents 2 decades to gather.
So we're saying to those fathers and those mothers, you cannot put a monetary tag on the value that you place on your daughter's head. No man, no human being on this earth can actually pay for that. In fact, if any man, I don't care if you are a billionaire or whatever the heck you are, you cannot put a price tag on a human being's head. It's practically impossible. And also know that as a parent, all this investment that you have made, Ella said, yes, the child did not ask for it, but you also still did it because that's your responsibility as a parent. Know that in your old age, it is these same children that will take care of you. At least I know your in-law. Including your in-law. I know for the Nigerian tradition. Yes, we know they leave our relatives and all
no nursing home for them, right?
And that's what I have to say.
Where's the shaker? I've already started pulling my.
This has been fun, guys. This has been fun. I enjoyed it.
So much, No, wait. Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate you. We know that it's getting to 3 hours. It's not our fault. All these people on this panel, they came late. You know, they did not come in.
Specifically, Toby
and Samolu, they came late.
Yes, I told you what happened. I have been online for now. It's almost 6 to 7 hours. I've been online on my phone.
We appreciate you.
For real?
So,
Yeah.
We really appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Those of them that came online. Those of you on the panel,
everybody that spoke. Vera, people that even were listening, but you were not commenting.
We appreciate you, and those of you that will watch after. Go and leave your comments in the comments section.
Like and share.
Next week, get topic.
Next week we're bringing war.
We are bringing war.
Yeah.
Because although they day for the way on the practice in Africa for abroad,
the ancestors and the gods are coming.
We are bringing a
pro or anti-juju.
Yes, we are coming. And the way we are coming next week is going to be very possible. So what we are
another banger.
It's another banger for you, all of us to know how we can evolve and make economic value out of
the focus of this thing. We say juju is coming on Saturday.
It is coming. So it's gonna be here.
It's not coming. We are.
You need to. Dominic must be there. She's going to analyze it because she's
an expert. She's an expert in juju. Dominic, I agree. Samolu, I agree with you. Dominic is the expert on juju.
You picked this topic and you were late. And now you're telling me to come for the next week for juju.
We will post the topic. We will post it in the middle.
I'm already giving you expo.
Next week, we'll give you expo.
Juju unlocked.
It is coming.
Samolu, you better be fasting and praying now.
I told you. I will tell you people how when I was growing up, a boy was turned into maize. Not today. It's for next week. I'll tell you.
We are bringing the white juju and the African juju.
But
the gods and work.
We are bringing coming by the grace of the Most High God, whom we
You need to tell the people who are in the village, your village people, to be ready now.
See, let me tell you something. When I just started primary school, I was in primary 1. I used to go to school.
Listen to Samolu, he's finishing.
I took money from this sacrifice. They used to print at the junction. I spent the money. Nothing happened to me till today.
Are you sure nothing happened to you, Samolu? Are you sure nothing happened to you?
Samolu will be defending the
I was so
Because
fearless. I
we were
cleaned all the
fasting and
money. We
praying for
cleaned
you.
the money. We cleaned the money. I buy condensed milk. We used to call it condensed milk. All these things.
Dominic,
You know
have you
what
ever
I'm
been
That's
talking
because
about?
we
jazzed?
were
I
fasting
spent
and
the
praying
money.
for you, Samolu. That's why the
We are
devil
Dominic,
just
have you
won't
ever
catch
been
you.
jazzed? Have you ever been jazzed
We
before?
are
Dominic.
going.
Bye.
Everybody,
We are going.
we are not
See
removing
you
you from the screen.
respectfully.
It's been fun,
Bye.
guys. It's been fun.
Bye, Samolu. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
If we continue this thing, these people will not go. They will not go home.
This is Juju Unlocked.
So next week we are coming here because we have to make economic value out of certain African culture and traditions.
It's not everything that should be eroded. Some things should be kept and monetized.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you everyone, and don't forget to like this video, to share this video. If you haven't subscribe, and until we see you next time. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts, please look out for our what's this thing called community page. That's how we post all the updates where you can vote, for example, in different polls and all that stuff. So you always get to see us there. Thank you so much everybody for joining us today. We appreciate your contribution. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And together we say,
make common sense never depart from